the way, I'm recording it on my end through Zoom as well.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me get this shit real quick. Hold on. God damn, that nigga's way bright.
Sheesh.
Whatever, I guess. All right, come in.
Ready? In 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Airing It Out podcast live. I am your host, Dustin Marion. He is my partner in crime, Hollow Clutch. But before we introduce Hollow, if you like it, like it. If you love it, please subscribe to it. We're trying to get that custom URL. Please follow us on all our handles. And without further ado, my man Hollow. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, my guy? How you doing, brother?
Nothing much. Hey, I wanted to ask you before we dive in, bro. How's that new call treating you, bro? Working out good? You milking fools out or what?
Yeah, man. It's it kind of is a little bit disappointing on how it's a really AAA graded game, and that they don't care, that they just make their money and they don't care. They're getting a lot of backlash right now, especially
Really?
Blizzard, because you have these guys firing people and getting rid of people, but they're recording profits. So like, if you're recording profits and your games are making a lot of money, why are you putting out shitty product? You know, like
That shit is crazy, bro.
Warzone is a year and a half in, and you don't have a brand new map yet, which is kind of crazy. You have Apex Legends. They just came out with a map yesterday.
And that shit is free, right? The whole game.
The game is free, but you could, like same thing, buy skins
Yeah, of course.
and stuff like that.
It's a free game versus a game you got to pay for, and it seems like Apex kind of comes really hard in the paint.
And they have three maps in rotation the entire time. And then on one of the modes, the one that's not ranked, you have a new map every week. So like
Wow.
it's fresh. Like it's just like it's whatever reason, Call of Duty's not doing it right. I don't know what's going on over there in Call of Duty, but they're super lazy. Like I don't know what it is. Like I said, I was like, why don't like this? Everybody likes money and want to profit because you're running a company, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how come somebody isn't sitting down and saying, "Hey guys, look, if we take $25 million, right, and just reinvest it into the game, we can make $10 billion more." Wouldn't that be a great idea? And for whatever reason, the people like, 25, that's too much. What? Why are we going to put $25 million back into the game? Makes no sense.
Crazy.
Because you still don't have an anti-cheat. There's still cheaters in the game.
Really?
Yeah, it's a really bad problem. Like their solution for anti-cheating is to say, "Hey, can you guys please not cheat in our game?" That's their solution.
Now that's comedy.
They released a statement saying that, by the way.
I thought what happened to those dudes with the auto aim and all those shits? They got kicked off the platform completely. Now they don't even bother doing that shit.
No, they do it again. Because the thing is that in Warzone is a free game. So you could keep making another account and a new account and a new account and a new account.
Got you.
So yeah, they'll be like, "Oh, we just booted 100, 200,000 people," but you can make an account right away. So they're bugging.
Yeah, that's stupid. All right, speaking about people that are bugging, what's going on with LBJ and the LBJ camp and everything? I mean, like, I don't know what. And you know what sucks for him, at least? This is coming on the heels that Space Jam is about to drop. And I feel like that movie is probably going to be bad, first of all. But second of all, yeah, a lot of people are not going to support him to watch it. Like, he's pissed off, actually, like, both sides now.
It's true. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know if he's COVID being locked down, not going outside, even though, he marches to his own drum because he is, a celebrity and an icon. And he has very tiny missteps. So I'm not going to give him a hard time. He's done a lot of philanthropic work. He does great investor, great family man. He's done everything almost perfect off the court. But the fact that we spoke about this last week, and we keep speaking about this when it comes to police brutality and anything associated with holding each other accountable, why don't he just say, listen, guys, I got this new information just came through the pipeline. Let's reevaluate the situation and then come out with strong, smart talking points at the end of it. Why not say, hey, listen, like we said with the Micaiah Bryant, the father, why didn't the father protect the daughter? And why wasn't the father making just de-escalating the situation? Why did the father kick the girl on the ground? Why didn't he lock the daughter in the house? You know, why did Jacob Blake resist arrest? Why did Dante Wright resist arrest? You know, why are we putting ourselves as a people in a wrong predicament? Everything is reactionary, and nothing is with a clear understanding of saying, hey, the cops fucked up, and we fucked up by not us as a people de-escalating the situation before the police arrive, and we're not holding each other accountable, and it kind of sucks. And we spoke about this last week. So with a guy like LeBron, who has a big platform to go in and tweet out saying accountability, when to me, some people find it wasn't a good shooting, other people find it as a good shooting, but not to get all the information and then say, hey, listen, these are all the talking points, here's all the bullying points, here what I would have done in that situation to be better and what we could do better as a community moving forward. I think that's where his misstep is.
I was talking to some sports agents that I had on, Mikel Fuji and Scott Marshall. Shout out to both of these guys. And I was talking to them, like, if you had clients, like, how would you go about talking to them about how they should use their platform, what they should do with social media and things of this nature? And they talked about, like, hey, why don't you get involved more in nonprofits? Why don't you, like, really, like, target some of the other things? Instead of you just writing, 260 characters, that might not be powerful enough, right? And it's just like, I love LeBron James because I think he's a phenom on the court, but it's been weird, his stuff off the court. And I feel like it all came down from, him doing that, releasing what team he was going to go to when it was Miami. But a lot of people talk about, like, they hate him on that, but all the profits for that went to the Boys and Girls Club, right? Which was a really good thing. But ever since then, it just seems like, I don't know, homeboy's drinking his own lemonade or something, because the China thing comes up and a lot of people were PO'd about that. And, he stands on the other aisle with that because obviously he didn't want to mess with his bucks, because obviously, China, whether they make all the Nikes or whether the Chinese consume all their products and watch basketball, I mean, they have a huge presence over there. It's insane that out of all the sports we have, how big basketball is on an international front, and they didn't want to piss off anybody. But it's like, you want to say accountability for one thing, but then you don't want to say accountability for another thing, right? And then the one that really got me, because I'm like, okay, you know what, look, especially when you talk about bang, 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 right? So bang, bang, bang also happens for us, right? You see a new story, you're black, you get offended, you didn't see the whole thing, you go to Twitter like, fuck, what the fuck is going on? Whatever you wrote, I get it, right? A lot of celebrities write shit and then they delete it. But then now he starts complaining about the playoff format. And you being my NBA guy, I wanted to get you to weigh in on that, because first of all, I told you before, when Anthony went down and LeBron went down, I'm like, they're done. And it doesn't even seem like he's being able to get back onto the court. And so now, what is he arguing about? Go ahead, don't worry, I'll fill the air. My man Hollow Clutch is playing Mrs. Doubtfire just like I do, being stay-at-home dads now. He's copping some pizza. But it's really baffling to me that LeBron James in such a short time has been able to upset so many people, and he's supposed to be one of the greatest athletes of all time, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. I mean, he ranks high in the scoring position all time. Comes out now that Dr. J, last week we mentioned it, keeps him off of his all-time list, which I thought was crazy. But it doesn't seem like LeBron really knows how to inject himself on a social discussion, whether it be him mistalking with or not backing up freedom of speech via how things were happening in China, from him obviously making free agency, for him being a circus, for him starting the concept of pretty much super teams, which I think is kind of silly, because most of the super teams he's been on haven't really been that super. And it's been a lot of guys that are kind of a little bit past their primes, not so much in their prime. I think that if you have a legitimate super team, that everybody should be super, not just you. And then now he goes on, he's getting upset, speaking crazy things about people are going to get fired and all this other stuff. And I mean, he's supposed to be a player, but it also looks like he's the GM / and on ownership and all these things. Nice job with the large pizza. That was quick, by the way. Those dudes get it popping fast. But so like I was saying, to get you into it, what is this problem that he's having now with the playoff format?
I don't know. I feel like he's going through a mid-career crisis right now, to be honest, because it's like,
I'm feeling you.
It makes no sense. You're only complaining about it because you're about to be in it. That's the only reason why you're complaining about it. If you were the number 1 seed, you wouldn't have said a goddamn thing. So that's the way it comes into where you're just like picking and choosing what you want to say and when you want to agree with something, when you want to disagree with something. And then I was watching like Nick Wright like loves LeBron James. I don't know if you know who Nick Wright is.
I know Nick Wright is. Yeah. He's a cool dude. Some of his shit is a little on the left, but I'm okay with it.
So in March on the Road Tripping podcast, LeBron says if some of these guys are close in the West, they should have an opportunity to play. So this is kind of how the development of the play-in came about. It wasn't because of LeBron, but somebody made, they was like, all right, that sounds like a good idea. Now let's do it across the board. And we're about to have maybe LeBron versus Steph in the play-in game. Like that's going to be exciting for people that are going to want to watch, So the guy who or the team, whoever came up with the concept of the play-in game, that's a huge bonus and a great thing for them. I also think of it as what do you care about what play-in game is? In the sense of nobody should be against the play-in games, because when the 1 seed plays the 8th seed, the 1 seed always slaps the 8th seed and sweeps them anyway. So why not add a little bit of flair at the end of the season and make these games count at the end of the year? Why not make them count?
So, okay, let's walk it back, because I've been reading all this shit and sometimes it's over my head. So we got 1 through 8, right? And then what? The rest of the teams are trying to play to be a 9th seed or to be an 8th seed?
Okay,
explain this whole format to me and also to our listeners, because I feel like people are confused because they just pulled this shit out of their ass just recently. This is the first time this has ever happened. And I agree with you. I think it's fun and exciting.
So the way it goes is 1 through 8 makes the playoffs.
Right,
So
got that.
Now the 7, 8, no wait, 7, 8, 9, and 10 seeds play each other. So I think the 7 plays the 9 and the 8 plays the 10.
Perfect. Okay,
And
got that.
The winners of those, I think, are the 7th and 8th seed.
Got it. That sounds fire.
Right, so it's like a March. It's like a mini March Madness. It's against
right. It's like a playoff within the playoffs before the playoffs.
Exactly. So
which gives other teams an opportunity.
Exactly. So let's say if you have for instance, a team like, let's say like Phoenix of last year, right? They got hot in the bubble. They went 8-0, right? But people don't ever talk about how DeAndre Ayton was suspended 73 games. Because of illegal drug substance, right? So now let's say you get a player back who was out for 3 months with a torn ACL, and you guys are in the fringe 10th seed or 9th seed, and you get them back. Let's say for whatever instance, let's say Klay Thompson was able to come back now, clear. That team is a different team with Klay Thompson on the Warriors. They're not a 10th seed with Klay Thompson. They're probably a 3rd seed or a 2 seed with Klay Thompson. So now let's say if he's able to play now because you're in a playing game, that changes the whole dynamics of now a 1 versus an 8, where that 8 was really a 4 seed, but they're the 8th seed because, 2 of their key guys were injured throughout the whole season, which is case in point, the Lakers, right? So let's say the Lakers fall to the 9th seed. Let's say for whatever reason they were to fall to the 9th seed, right? In the old format, you would be at the league.
Right.
You would be at the playoffs.
Yes.
Period. So now in this opportunity is whoever's the 1 seed will play in the first round. It'll be Phoenix Suns if they get the 1 seed. We'll be playing the Lakers as the 8th seed. And that'll be a dope-ass thing because it's technically the Lakers are really a 2 seed. So now you have a 1 seed going against technically a 2 seed, but they are the 8th seed. And I know these numbers going up and down sounds crazy.
I got you. I get it. It makes sense. Now, it's a 1 game off, right? So whoever wins that game moves forward, right?
Correct. And then you go into the series.
And now, where's LeBron sitting in that?
Right now, I think the Lakers are in the 6th seed or the 7th seed.
How many games left in the season?
It's like 7.
So what is he complaining about? They could stay at the 6 and not even have to deal with this.
Exactly. But the thing is that if they do lose, whatever, 5 out of the next 7, then they'll be in the play-in game. That's what I'm saying. It's stupid because he's just bitching because he has a possibility of being in the play-in game, which is stupid. Why are you bitching about what the possibility of being in a playoff game?
I thought it was crazy that he's talking about people going to get fired. Like,
Yeah,
the
like
statement that he released was wild. I'm like, are you the player or are you the owner?
That's the problem. He's so entitled, and the NBA kind of has bent over backwards to do almost everything LeBron James has said, and he feels like he just runs the league, and in some sense he has for a while. But this is just a stupid statement, and people don't hold him accountable. It's and it kind of sucks. Kind of sucks.
Yeah, I thought I didn't understand. I'm like, damn, bro, your shit is hot right now. Like, why don't you just take a chill pill? You already said some wild shit, and then like. Also, too, he kind of sometimes reminds me a little bit of the young Cam, where he just sulks. Like, when he does pressers, I'm like, bro, you're like the face of the league. You're supposed to be, he comes off so spoiled and so entitled, and now he's so loaded that it almost seems like he's a rich artist that's, like, tone deaf to what's going on. Like you had said earlier, right? Like, it's his own show, and he can say and do whatever he wants, and he doesn't really... understand certain things on how it's going to look for his brand.
And then you have all these, police officers or military officers. And then you have pictures of like police officers escorting LeBron James in and out of venues, while having police escort. And it's like you're alienating a population of people who are here to protect and serve. Now, are those people perfect? No, by all stretch of imaginations, they're not. But don't make it seem like all of them are bad. Like we can't have this precedent. We cannot have this precedent. We need the police. If we don't have the police, people make it seem like fuck the police, get rid of the police. If we got rid of the police, you know who's gonna get hurt the hardest? The poorest parts of the country. And who's in the poorest parts of the country? Blacks, Hispanics are in the poorest parts of the country. Now you got the Midwest, you got the flyover states with predominantly white, but they're like 7 miles apart from each other. Most inner cities, poor neighborhoods are Hispanic and Black. And that's who's going to suffer the most. And that's what people don't notice. People just want to blow things up with no information. So that's why, like, and I know I sent you the video where you had Steven Crowder, talking about, how many unarmed Black people got shot last year by the police. It was 9. How many unarmed white people? It was 19. So these are the numbers that people don't want to hear. And it's like, all right, the Black population is 13%, but they're responsible for almost 50% of the homicides. That's a staggering statistic. And then, we're thrown in there, minorities, even Hispanics, we're in the crime and homicides too. And that's all in the inner cities that are predominantly Democratic with the most strictest gun laws. And we need to hold each other accountable. That's why, you got these police and these military guys coming out against, LeBron James or any celebrity that comes out and just says stupid shit just to virtue signal and to see they're a part of the movement, and it's getting annoying. And I just hope, these guys, the teams just say, hey, listen, just be truthful. If you fuck up, say, yo, my bad. I fucked up last week, or I fucked up yesterday, or I fucked up today. I got no information. The information I got at the time, I reacted emotionally. I didn't, get other information. People can respect you if you just tell the truth, and you can say, "Yo, my bad. I know it was on me. Next time, the next situation, I'm gonna act with more information. I'm not gonna be react with so much emotion, and I'm gonna try to be a better person." But we don't do that across the board, politically, media, nothing. It's just fuck you.
I think to give him a smidget of credit, he did that when he did take down the first tweet about the accountability and came out and he had said, hey, I'm just tired. I'm paraphrasing, but I'm just tired of seeing Black people killed by the police. And, I did, fuck up without getting the whole deal. But I feel like that story, like we talk about all the time, got a little bit buried and then it got personified on all the other stuff. What I wanted to ask you, did you see that TikTok video with that cop playing LeBron?
No.
Like he's driving around, he's got a phone, And he's like, he's like, hey, you guys stop shooting. Oh, wait, hold on. I got LeBron James on the phone. LeBron James, what do you think we should do? And then LeBron James, like, he pretended like LeBron James told him like not to do nothing. He's like, all right, go ahead. I can't arrest you. I'm out of here. It got 2.4 million views on TikTok, right?
That's crazy.
And then, and then the police department of that particular guy, because it was a real cop, come in and say, we're going to deal with this internally. I wanted to ask you, because I see tons of cops now on TikTok. Should police be using social media in the ways that they do to be clowning and joking? And also the same thing that goes for the military? Because at least in the military, it's a little different as young guys. But for the PD, I'm like, don't act like your shit is clean, bro. Should you be clowning right now?
Again, it depends on who the cop is. If it's a cop who, let's say, for instance, was a Derek Chauvin, it has 17 fucking complaints against him. Like somebody who's a bad cop or who's known to be a racist on the force, or who known to be, whoever on the force. You shouldn't be joking. You should be either fired, reprimanded, or just stay off altogether. Now, you have some of those guys, like, that's funny. And that's okay. That brings awareness to, let's say, whatever the police department is, and say, hey, listen, this guy has a sense of humor. Now, what if when that cop who's a little famous, let's just say what is 15 seconds of fame.
4 million sounds like an Insta famous to me, bro.
So now when you go into your community, say, hey, listen, I work in such and such county. I'm this police officer. You guys know me from this thing. Hey, if I respond to domestic violence in this way, I respond to child abuse in this way, I respond to a claim of somebody being, I don't know, a theft this way. Like, at least who your police officers are in your community, because there's not enough police community joint ventures where the community knows exactly who the cops are. It's very, very few where you would be like, oh, I know Officer Perez. Yeah, that person, she's cool. She's tough. We can't sell drugs here. She makes sure, or we can't be fucking partying at 12 o'clock at night. They're going to come fuck up our shit. We got to be respectful, but it's 10 o'clock in the morning. We could play music from 10 to 8. Like, build that camaraderie with the community, the police chief in that community. And I think it'll be fine for police to keep using social media. How about I think it'll be dope, put out social media with the police saying, hey, listen, if you're getting pulled over, this is the right steps you should take. If a police officer says you should do this, that is not our policy. That police officer is wrong. Put out some steps where it shows to the community that you're taking steps to show that there are going to be some bad apples within our department, and here are what they can do and here what they can't do in a traffic stop, or in a regular stop, or coming to your house. How about do that? So the California Police Department comes out and says, listen, when a police officer comes to your door, these are your rights, X, Y, and Z. The police officer can enter your premises on these X, Y, and Z. You're allowed to film. If we ask you to back up or ask you to be across the street, whatever the case may be, we ask you for these reasons, why, and then list the reasons why. I think they could do better with a community outreach that way.
I think that's actually solid. That's actually an interesting point, because I was just looking at it from the lens of like, bro, you shouldn't be clowning it, even though it was comedy. Mm-hmm. But definitely, I mean, social media now is like the new TV, right? And it would definitely be better if they did have some spokespersons, especially from the police, that are out there talking about certain things and saying, hey, this is how you should kind of handle stuff like this. I know that I think it's called Legal Pop Brothers. Shout out to them on Instagram.
They're hilarious.
Those dudes are like, shut the fuck up and get arrested, basically. Is all they tell you to fucking do, which makes a lot of sense. But again, that is coming, even if they are legal or even if they are lawyers, they are giving their point of view from the white bias, right? And so they're not like black guys saying that. So then that also brings it up on a whole nother can of worms. But I don't know. For me, I want to circle it back before we move on, that if LeBron was so concerned, where is his outreach? Right? Like, are you getting involved in the communities and handling these situations? Like, you've been injured, right? You didn't have to be in games. Did you go down to South Carolina or South Carolina? No, North Carolina. Did you go down to North Carolina? Did you go check on what was going down out there? Did you get to talk to maybe some of the community leaders? Did you talk to some of the PD? Did you go up to Minnesota, check on some folks there, do certain things like that? Like, I just feel like he says stuff, but then he doesn't get off his throne to kind of be amongst the people, which is crazy. Because I think it would be better if we seen a tangible LeBron. That's the problem. We don't really see the real LeBron. We see the LeBron of the facade that he wants to give us. But then again, none of us make billions of dollars playing basketball, and we don't know what it's like to. Because we talked about it. Was it Nipsey Hussle? You said he tried to be in the streets and then gets banged, and then there goes that. So that might create some more fear. But I feel like a guy like LeBron is way huger, and so it just it's just crazy.
Now talking about,
I don't know how to fix his. Before we jump in, I really don't know how he could fix his image. It seems like LeBron James is stained for life. But go ahead.
I just think if he, like I said, if he just comes out honestly and just say, listen, I fucked up, which he kind of did, but not really, and just say, hey, listen, moving forward, I'm going to hold myself to a higher standard. I'm going to hold my community to a higher standard, and I'm going to have maybe start a foundation with building up community leaders in all the areas, have an outreach program, talk to the gang leaders in the area, talk to whoever, talk to the police in all the areas, say, hey, listen, every time you get a stop, what are the reactions you're getting? All right, now how can you fix your approach to this? Now, all right, how about you have in New York, I know we have PALs, and the PALs,
They still do that?
Yeah, they have them police athletically. We have one up the block. So,
all right, cool. Because I've always thought that was dope, and we don't do enough of that.
Have a big say. Hey, listen, on Tuesday 7 o'clock, everybody come down here. You guys can ask questions on how a specific situation can occur. How to de-escalate the situation. What us as the police officers do in the situation. Put every once a month, take 10 of the activists in the community, put them through police training protocols so they can understand the psyche of a cop when they pull up to a scene or when they pull up to a certain thing. There's a video right now on YouTube. If you black activist goes through police training, and he does everything the opposite of what you're trained to do as a police officer. He shoots 2 people when you're not supposed to. Like if a guy is walking towards you with no gun and nothing, with their face towards you, you're not allowed to shoot them. Like in this specific state or county, the way that this police training was going on, he did that. Another thing was he let the perpetrator get behind a vehicle, and the perpetrator took out the gun and shot him right away. So it's like different little trainings like that. How about we put some of these community activists in these situations? Put them, whatever, in a store scenario. Whatever, somebody's acting up, and you have the guy's a fake knife. How would you as a handle the situation? And I get it, the activists are not police officers, but we just need to have an understanding that in situations of panic and heightened sense, that mistakes happen, and to almost 97% of all police interactions end up in a positive note. That's pretty great. And the 3% is what fucking a bomb happens, and everybody focuses on the 3% of bad interactions. And how can we mitigate it and maybe move it up to 99% perfect, police interactions? We could work together as a community, but we have to understand each other. And I also saw a video of I liked how maybe a cop should be in a 4-year training program, a probation period. So they can get, out all the bad, habits, bad techniques. Because like we said, if you were a cop in the 2000s, you're basically getting trained by somebody from a cop that was in the 80s. And then the cop in the 80s was getting trained by somebody who was a cop in the 60s. So these are cultural things in the police department that needs to be, eradicated and fixed. And it's happening little by little, And I'm happy we're going down this route. Now, talking about that, in Florida, they just lifted a mandate of almost everything with COVID. They're just like, we're going to officially open everything up. companies can't force you to wear a mask. Companies, restaurants, you don't. There's no mandate. If you want to, as a person, if you feel more comfortable wearing a mask, it's okay. But we're not gonna force any businesses to do it anymore. And I think it's about goddamn time. For the most part, Florida has been open the whole pandemic, and they're like in the almost the bottom or the middle of the pack with infections and deaths. So I think they handled it correctly. Sunlight kills it on instant contact. I think people still have a I think I'm sorry. I think people have a misnomer on how you get COVID. You can't get it in the air. That's not how it works. It's not airborne. You have to be in close vicinity to each other, and you have to get saliva either in your nose or in your mouth or on your hands, and you put your hands in your mouth. It's not if we're outside and you get it that way. So people need to understand that. I think people just think of COVID as just just flying through the air and you get it like that. Kind of like an asthma attack or pollen or something like that, and that's not how COVID travels. But I'm excited, for Florida. They're leading the way. Ron DeSantis, 2024 for president. Anybody who can read information, adapt to reading information, and implement the information that they receive, they have my vote. I don't care if he has a sex scandal. I will vote for him.
So it's weird because I sent this stuff to you and I wanted to look at it. I know you've been banging your chest a lot about this and some of the things that have been out there as the misnomers. But it's weird because he goes out and he lifts this, but like AMC said they're still gonna keep their shit. Target, Walmart said they're still gonna keep their shit. I think a lot of it was referred more to small businesses and having small businesses decide on how much they want to be allowed in the sense of some of the mandates and some of the restrictions, especially with the no mask thing. But he has definitely, I guess, led the trend on maybe, because at one point we were supposed to look at things and say, well, herd immunity was an option. And then it literally got taken off the table with more masks, more lockdowns, and the 6 feet apart thing. But I thought it was interesting that he went about and did this because I don't even think Texas lifted their no mask mandate too, right?
Yep, and everything went down. Cases went down, deaths went down, everything went down.
A friend of mine lives in AZ and he's like, "There's no mandate."
They the same thing. They've been open since like Florida the whole time.
So this is gonna be interesting. I mean, I get it. I'm still concerned, not so much with not having masks or the information. I just hope that whatever's happening in India could just be them being, like their infrastructure from a medical standpoint is just being put pressure because they're losing people like nobody's business. I know we can't fly there now. I'm hoping and praying they get taken care of. But whatever variant they have doesn't come to the U.S. because if we got to do this whole thing again, I don't know how it's going to be handled. And Trump, when he was in office, he talked about it being handled from a local, from a state, and then from a federal level. And so I mean I don't know. We got to look further into the statistics. But the last headline I read was that Texas and Florida numbers were down by a large part on a lot of other cities. So that. I don't know if I want to say kudos yet to it. I hope it keeps trending that way. But I've also heard some horror stories of people that were in spring break and ended up catching COVID and bringing it back and getting a family member sick and putting family members in the ICU. So again, I'm still kind of on the fence on it. But again, it's a story-to-story situation, and we don't even know. I mean, I think I read something today that's saying that now kids are starting. They're seeing an uptick on kids getting it. Younger people are getting it. So this is obviously a continuous news story that changes and unfolds constantly. But I wanted to ask you about I don't know if you've been reading or seeing or looking into this, but we were just talking about LeBron and how he's viewed in the public court. What's happening with Facebook, bro? Like Facebook right now it went from like this really great thing about 10, I think probably, let me see, when I moved here, Facebook was just coming up when I moved here. So let's say in a 12-year span, it went from this amazing thing where you could share photos and meet friends and meet old college sweethearts and hook up with people that you haven't seen in a hot minute. And then now it's become this totally different thing now.
It's basically an ad agency. That's basically what it is now.
Right. Now it's an ad agency, but that's like C. Because they've been like thrown under the bus for, you know, voter tampering, rigging elections. You know, they banned Trump in the same span. They've blocked some of their employees from coming out and saying things. I mean, Zuckerberg really doesn't have a clean social like presence in the sense of how people view him. Everybody kind of doesn't like him. He's kind of like bundled up with Bill Gates in that sense. I mean, it's just crazy that it went from like this, you know, really amazing platform to now it being like in the muck of becoming maybe like a social disruptor.
I think what especially social media, we're still like at the fetal like part of the phase. Let's say if it was a baby, like it's right now it's like this is the sperm going to the egg kind of thing. You know, that's how, because you know we're still kind of understanding and trying to, you know, dictate what social media is and how it's affecting things. And by all means, it's the positives outweigh the negatives I think by a long shot. I think, you know, you got people that you could literally make money in your underwear from anywhere in the world thanks to social media.
Yes.
You know, and that's a big ass positive. And the very small negatives, I think, can be ratified and fixed. I do think some of these social media companies do need to, I don't know. The thing is, the government sucks at doing things. So I don't want them to be run by the government, but I would like to see a little bit of integration in the sense of that free speech should be on in your terms of service. Like the constitutional right of free speech should be in your terms of service. There's no reason why anybody, including Donald Trump, including Alex Jones, including anyone, should ever be silenced for anything that they're saying, period. I think if anybody who has dumb speech or false information or, you know, anything that could be challenged by somebody who has a better idea, somebody who's more intelligent, somebody who passes a more intelligent argument across, even dumb people should be able to speak. So like I always had an issue with a couple of people who I know who would say, yeah, that's right, that person should be canceled. And I'm like, that makes no sense. And somebody shouldn't be canceled for what they say, even if they say I fuck babies. Even if they say that, it doesn't matter if they say that. Now, if they do it, that's a whole different thing. But saying something with words, it doesn't matter. Like we're in this weird thing where we want to have these safe spaces for people and these kids and these young people who are 20, 24 years old who don't want to go through life with somebody telling them you're a fucking idiot or you know, go eat a dick or you're fucking retarded or any of these words that people find triggering, and YouTube has a list of stuff that you can't say, and Twitter has a things of stuff that you can't say. We got to get out of this misnomer of who are the gatekeepers or these social media companies of what can be said. And it sucks because there's been some people whose channels on YouTube, who let's say that's their only means of income, have been taken away or demonetized. And they have the right, because you know we had this back and forth before, where if you feel something, that's not it. Just because you feel violated or you feel, you know, uncomfortable or you feel somebody disrespected you, doesn't mean that person shouldn't be able to say whatever they want, because they're just words. You know, we grew up in an era where sticks and stones would break brown bones, but words will never hurt me, and I'll stick to those, you know, to this day. And I get called sometimes an asshole because I just say the truth. But saying the truth doesn't mean you're an asshole. You're just trying to make sure that there's an open dialogue between two people and there's facts involved. And sometimes people don't like to hear facts. They like to hear and I hate when people say this, their truths. I'm like, who the fuck gives a fuck about your truths? We're talking about the overall, the facts of whatever topic that we're discussing. And I think, you know, these social media companies, Facebook included, need to have, you know, just be transparent. Just like, you know, like Robinhood. Why is it free? Because they're selling your data. That's why it's fucking free. Facebook, guess what? It's fucking free. Why? Because they're selling your data. You want to use Facebook? This is the thing. We're gonna take your information, we're gonna take your spending habits, we're gonna take what you like to watch, and we're gonna sell it for advertising. If you're straight up with people are like, okay, cool. All right, I guess I gotta use your platform because there's so many other people using your platform anyway. But if you are open and transparent, people are fine with that. It's that when people feel slighted and feel like they were deceit, you know, this people lying to them. That's when people have an upright and are upset. You know, that's why people are upset with Robinhood. They're gonna be upset with all these social media companies. So that's what Mark Zuckerberg has to do.
It's crazy too, because I was talking to my mom yesterday, and my favorite thing now is like, I'll block you. Say so. I'll block you. I'll block you, bro. And then they say so. You're blocked. And now that's what we're. I even see it's so funny because I think like if you're, I don't know, what do they call those things? Trolls. I think if you're a troll and whatever, and you're getting blocked or you're blocking people, what the fuck ever. I think it's comedy in not a good way when I see celebrities bait people in to get them blocked. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And I think it's dumb. And I mean, I don't know. This is a really tough place because first of all, let's speak to the selling of the data. I don't even know. I mean, no one reads the terms of agreement when they sign into any of these platforms, right?
79 pages.
Right. And then, you know, when they're selling it, it's just like, well, you know, I'm gonna keep using it, and then I get obviously. Listen, nothing is for free, and we should have been knowing that something like that was going down. But this is a new era. I think Apple's doing something really cool where they're blocking a lot of people who are tracking you, and they're trying to, you know, not everybody steal your data to resell. I mean, I think it's crazy that Robinhood, that should be illegal, by the way, what Robinhood is doing. Because, okay, what I like on TV, what I like on movies, you know, whether I like politics or not, that's okay if you want to sell that. I'm not saying it's 100%, but I that to me is, I can handle that more. When you're fucking selling to another hedge fund my buying habits, you're pretty much controlling the market. That means that there's no free market. That means that there's no opportunity for a joke. That's why I mean I have a Robinhood account, but I was only using it to check out crypto, because crypto, I don't know what the fuck is happening here. It's losing its goddamn mind. But I just use it for that. I would never fuck with them. And Facebook has been another one that I've been kind of dragging my feet on because they seem shady, right? Like you were saying in the transparency part, especially with the selling the data. But I don't know, man. Social media, we are in its infant phase. I can't believe 10, 15 years in almost we still haven't even cracked the surface of it. I know a lot of people, you know, are on the fence, and there's so many different things, but it is like you said, you know, you can become, you know, an entrepreneur in your you know, shorts, making shit happen on social. So it's like a double-edged sword. There's a lot of things that are good about it. There's a lot of things that are bad about it. I also think that a huge talking point that a lot of people are really getting into is the freedom of speech thing, because that's not written into into your rights. It's not saying, well, freedom of speech also includes Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, right? And so now for these guys to look at it, I was telling somebody this the other day. I think that Twitter, out of all of them, is kind of the better out of all of them, because Twitter lets a lot of shit go. A lot. I mean, the fact that it has porn on there, none of the other social media sites have porn.
That's the one that tricks me about with Twitter, is like, you have fucking porn all over your shit, and it's fine. But if Donald Trump says something, you block him, or Alex Jones, or any conservative. If it's any conservative, yeah, somebody who got suspended or banned. I forgot the woman's name. That she wrote. All she wrote was, "Trans women are not women." And she was banned.
Oh, I remember that.
Or if you know Caitlyn Jenner, if I wrote on Twitter Bruce Jenner,
Right. That's called a dead
dead
name.
name.
Done for that shit too.
Why is that a something? Like, why is that something?
Well, I thought this too. Okay, so it seems like these social media companies are ran by Democratic individuals, right? And so they're obviously going to be taking shots at the conservatives, right? And I'm again, I don't fit on neither one of these boxes because I really don't care for either side. But I almost think like, I mean, they got shut down, but I feel like Parler shouldn't have been the last one. If I'm on that conservative side, I'm like, bro, we need to open up something else so that when the Democrat says something stupid, block you, block you, because it only seems like the left have a platform.
Yep, and it's sad. Now, and what's whack about the shit too is that they bitch and complain and say, go to your own platform. They go to their own platform and then they get fucking still got shut down anyway. So like, which one is it? Go take your ball and go home. Okay, I'm taking my ball. I'm going home, and on my way home, you fucking take my ball too. Which one is it? You can't have it all.
Look at what happened. I mean, and then she said anti-Semitic comments, or I don't even know if you could classify them as anti-Semitic. They were referred to Jews, but she said something crazy. They shut her shit down. I mean, she got fired from Star Wars. Yeah,
and
she got fired from Star Wars.
And here's an issue that I even have with the Jewish community too. If you talk about anything in the Jewish community is anti-Semitic, no matter fucking what it is.
Remember Deshaun Jackson? When he wrote that shit, he had to scramble it out. He's lucky he's playing football.
What I'm saying is it's anything. And it's like,
right, that's what I'm saying.
I get you. Like, you went through a bad period in your lifetime. Cool. Black people were enslaved for 400 plus years. And people aren't getting canceled. And their shit pulled off if they mention anything about slavery. But if they mention anything about a Jew, it's automatically anti-Semitic. You blah, blah, blah. You blah, blah, blah this. You blah, blah, blah that. Like, I think we have also, like, sometimes I'll make a comment about a stereotype. And like, oh, people were like, oh, joking. Oh, you're racist. I'm like, what? Like, Spanish people like to eat rice and beans. That's a stereotype that most Spanish people, including myself, like to eat rice and beans. Black people like to eat watermelons. Chinese people like to eat sushi, or
Japanese,
right. Or Asian, whatever. They like to eat that type of food, or exotic food, or exotic animals. Those are just stereotypes. That doesn't mean that it's racist. And what's fucked up too is that we just passed laws to protect the Asian community right away, but we didn't do it for the blacks or the Hispanics. And it just shows where people are and what is important to people and what's not important to people, and what we pick and choose to be important. And it's a scary road that we're going down.
I'm starting to get like a little pissed off that there's like no respect for the brown, like none. Like, I mean, listen, I know everybody has their concerns, right? But it feels like now everybody wants to be at the front of the line. And Trump on his soapbox talked about one time how they're sending, specifically speaking to Mexicans, that they send us their racists, and they're racist. They send us their murderers and their rapists, right? And he got away with that.
But even that clip was disingenuous because he went. If you watch the whole 2-hour interview thing, that press conference, he says the guys who are defecting from Mexico are normally criminals, and most of
that's not a true statement.
But what I'm saying is that
mostly that's not a true statement.
What I'm saying is that what he said was that the people who are coming here, we've arrested them for crimes they've committed in the United States, and then they're sending mostly the bad people. From what he says in the whole context. I'm just saying the whole context.
No, I get you. I understand. I just think it's in token, like, they're fucking hungry. They're fucking thirsty. They want housing. They want these types of things. I mean, obviously, like, there's a cap on how poor you could be, but there's no cap on how rich you could be, right? You could have 800 bill and you're good, but 26,000, that's as much as we're going to give you. And not even that. I don't even know. I think that's a lot, because I think like 16,000 is considered like within the poor context.
I think if you make $26,000 or $30,000 a year, you're in the top 1%. If I'm not mistaken, of people who make money.
Wow.
In the world.
Christ. But that's in the world concept. See, those are the things that they like to fucking paint. We're not talking about the world, bro. We're talking about the United States of America, not you specifically. But I'm saying in general. Like when you bring that into the thing, I'm like, okay, great. In Mexico, yeah, they make like $10 a week, but we're not talking about Mexico. We're talking about the United States. And I think $26,000 ain't jack shit. Especially now, like. I don't know about you because you live in YO, but now this is the thing that got me pissed off, and I don't really know what to do. They're raising my rent, and I'm like, bro, really? Right now you're raising the rent right now. People still haven't even gotten back on their feet, and you're here trying to make more bread, you know? But that's just speaking, like I said, last week, and we talked about it. We got to definitely like get a show where we can start like dialing down some of these notions and these ideas, because capitalism is cool. But it just seems like people are just greedy. Forget about capitalism, because I feel like that word confuses people, and then they want to talk differently about it. Greed is killing America. It really is. Everybody, the guys that have it all don't want to break bread with nobody else. But again, I think that's another topic for another time. Let's move into news or no news and get some comedy going, so I can see some of your reactions and faces, because I think it's always a fun time. But news or no news, we're gonna start. I guess still kind of political, so we'll see how this goes. It seems like this show went from a sports show to turning into a slowly political show. We might have to change the name, but I guess airing it out still works. Okay, news or no news. Howard Stern warns The Rock and Matthew McConaughey about running for office.
No, I'd say no news. I just think if these guys, Howard Stern didn't run for president, so what the fuck is he talking about?
That's what I thought. Like, what do you?
So I say it's no news. And like I said before, if I think The Rock has come from humble beginnings, and I think if he just stays true to his roots and just says, is transparent and through the process, and Matthew McConaughey is the same way, I think you're fine. I think if say, listen, I made a mistake here, I made mistakes there. The Rock has come out before and says, he stole a Snickers bar from this one store over and over when he was a kid, and it's something that has ate at him, and he went back to the store to repay. That's somebody who's come from the dirt and the ground up. And I think it's no news. Howard Stern, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah, yeah, that was the first thing I thought about. I was like, Howard, I didn't know you was you had ran for political office. I don't know. We got to be leaning on you. And now, if like Obama had told them, I think that would be news. But I agree with you. There's no news. Okay, news or no news. The feds raid Giuliani's home and offices, seizing all kind of things, like computers and cell phones, with him and his dealings or his involvement with business dealings in the Ukraine.
I'd say it's news because they need to come out and apologize to Giuliani, because a lot of the reports are misinformation, especially the Washington Post who broke the news story, and he was even confused to what was going on. So again, the media is clickbaity, needs money, and that's where we're at right now. That's what we're gonna say is news.
Right,
I say news just because of the media's just the business model for media is so bad right now. It's about just the greatest headline and as many amount of clicks for advertisement.
I think you said it right there in the same sentence. The business side of media. There shouldn't be no fucking business, bro. You should be worried about telling the truth and getting the stories right. But like we know, with the rise of yellow journalism, these guys don't give a fuck, and they care about his clicks. I say it's news only because Giuliani, up until this point, until he started fucking with Trump, he had a squeaky clean background. He was known for cleaning up New York City, even though I think he did it a little rough with that, stop and search bullshit, and NYPD was fucking going crazy, which is a story no one even really knows about and how it popped off. But he gets a lot of love. I think this is fucking up his, his image. And the fact that the feds are getting involved, I think that's crazy. So I say definitely news. Also, I read in the same column or the same article written by Vice that now he's being looked into voter tampering as well. So Giuliani's shit might get blown up really bad here. And I also think him getting punked by Borat was a little shady too, because it looked like he was about to close that deal, even though he didn't know he was getting recorded. So we'll move on. All right. The biggest fucking news of the week. I don't know. We got people dying in fucking India. But news or no news, right? Bill Gates and his Mrs. divorce. I don't know how this trumps all the other fucking news stories. Is this news?
I say it's news just because the sense of, no matter how much money you have, you can never satisfy women. Like it doesn't matter. Like no matter what, like what the fuck could Bill Gates do, especially where you guys are at in your life? Like when you're that fucking filthy rich, just be like, hey, listen, babe, I need to be fucked by a younger guy. Like we need to figure something out here. Like,
Yeah, it's called the Clintons.
yeah, just it's
Right, make a deal, make a brokerage.
just make a deal. Say, listen, we're gonna be together. We're gonna keep running the business together. But I need to go get railed. I need some dick.
He doesn't even look like he could even hang in the sack. Homeboy, like he's looking hard. He's looking beat up. I don't know what happened to Bill. He was looking fresh a minute ago, and now he looks super old.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I think it's, like I said, it's news just because no matter what, like it's either, you weren't there for me. You're not emotionally there for me. You're not fucking me the right way. It's always something with women. Always, 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 always. So who knows?
It's definitely the gift and the curse, bro. Thanks God.
Because I'm pretty sure she could get and has whatever the fuck she wants. So what? He's reading too much? What is it? It's always fucking something. Because women, if they're not making you happy, they're upset that you're happy about something that they're doing. So that's the only reason why.
He gave her like 1.8 bill in stock options, and I don't even know how else he's cutting the fucking cake. I say no news only because there's so many other things that are happening, and this shit got broken everywhere on every fucking social news outlet ever. There's bigger things fish to fry than who the fuck is divorcing who. They're even bringing up a new statistic that's saying that divorce is at a higher rate amongst older couples now. So now that's another fucking trend. So I don't know. I say no news because I don't really give a fuck. I mean, some people think that Bill Gates is evil. I don't know about that. I'm more concerned about him picking and choosing what diseases he wants to cure. So I don't know. Maybe you should try to cure AIDS or COVID. That might be more important. All right. So news or no news. This is a bunch of stuff. So Floyd Mayweather, right, is gonna fight Logan Paul, but he says that he could smack Logan and Jake in the same night. News or no news?
No news because he's one of the greatest boxers of all time. I think
so it definitely can happen, right? He can smack both of those guys.
Yeah, for sure. And then he's gonna walk away with like $700 million off the whole deal, most likely.
News or no news that they're fighting each other? In general, like, is this what the fuck are we doing?
No, again, it's only news because it just shows how big of a draw Mayweather is. That. Right. Okay. He said it. He was just on the I think Gilly the Kid's podcast about that's his name.
Okay,
I forgot. So he was just on a podcast and he was just like, if I fight a regular boxer,
the kid and the fighter or Gilly?
No, Gilly. I forgot. I forgot the name of the podcast.
I don't want to make sure. Whatever.
It's a rapper's
He was
podcast.
on the podcast saying what?
And
who was Floyd?
Floyd. So he was on a podcast saying that if he fought a regular boxer right now, he could get about $50 million.
100%.
But if he fights a YouTuber, he could get $100 million.
Wow.
Just because of all the advertising and all the revenue. So he playing it smart.
I'm mad at him.
And it's an exhibition fight, so it's not even going to be. It's not even an official fight. So let's say if he were to, whatever, Logan Paul gets a lucky punch and knocks Floyd Mayweather out, it doesn't go on his official record. So,
yeah. First of all, do you even think that's going to happen? There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way, bro. Floyd has fought some of the best of the best. Now, granted, he doesn't really invite like getting hit, but he's in my opinion, one of the best defensive boxers of all time. All right, so they just had a presser today, right? And so Floyd also says, "I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker," and basically calls both fighters fake. News or no news?
Oh no news. That's all promotional.
That's right, of course. I see. Go ahead.
It looks staged because, like, any sane person, let's say for whatever, what's happened. Say Logan Paul were to die right now, right? Who's the first person of interest? It'll be Floyd Mayweather because he screamed, "I'm gonna kill you guys." So, like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just screaming it in front of all the media outlets.
Got it. Yes.
It was all just promotion. That's all it was. It's hard. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be hard to sell the fight. But people are going to be tuned in because they're just, it's going to be intriguing. You're going to have, I think Chad Ochocinco is going to be on the card, on the undercard. He's boxing too in this and on that card. on that day. So you have a lot of
Oh, I
these just
love you,
people.
Ocho. What are we doing? Let's start a podcast, Ocho. Why do you need this kind of money, Och? Who's he fighting, by the way?
I don't think they announced his opponent yet.
Oh my God. Okay, so I say no news, but what is news to me is boxing is like deteriorating with this bullshit. I don't know why in the fuck we're doing all this kind of stuff. You and I have seen some great fights in the 90s and the 2000s, and boxers. I can't believe they're just tarnishing and ruining all of this stuff. Okay. News or no news, Chris Brown's massive birthday party bash gets broken up by LAPD.
No news. It's you said LAPD, so they're in fucking California, Mother Russia. So you already know it wasn't gonna last too long. So.
Yeah. All right. I say it's news only because doesn't the LAPD got anything else to do besides breaking up fucking parties?
How about they go clear up those fucking bums in California? It's like 200,000 fucking bums on the street. Clear that up.
Shout out to Kate Smite. She's a big advocate about the homeless situation in LA is getting out of control. It's also becoming a problem here in San Diego. It's a problem, I think,
Almost
all over
everywhere.
California. No, just specifically in California, it's a real huge problem. Whether it's the homelessness in San Francisco, the homelessness in LA, and now some of the homeless in San Diego. I mean, that's three different entry points that they're challenged with this vagrant problem. And I don't know whether it was Prop 26 or Prop 27 decriminalizing some of these things. They got guys shooting up dope and doing crystal on the block now. Like, I don't know what's happening. This is getting really crazy. I would love to get her on the show and pick her brain more about this. But she's doing her work and trying to at least bring more eyeballs to the story. Okay, I don't know if you've seen this, and I was rushing around a little bit, but news or no news, Warner Brothers is looking to bring a black actor to play Kal-El, aka Superman.
I'm conflicted. I don't know the comic books that well.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a black Superman? To your
So
knowledge?
I just been reading yesterday. There is a black Superman. Now I might be saying his name wrong. I think it's Tal-El, and he's from the same L house. And a lot of the comic enthusiasts were saying that they should try to introduce him as a character into the universe rather than trying to make Superman black. But there's a lot of talk about it. I found it interesting that would even be a thing. So it looks like DC is just throwing away everything and maybe trying to start from scratch here.
If there is a black Superman and they have a storyline for the black Superman, I think that would be dope. I think not just taking the Superman that we all know and just calling him Kal-El and just doing it and just saying, look, we have a black Superman now. How about we prop up, black characters like the Black Panther was a fucking fire ass character, fire ass thing. The movie was dope. We have The Rock coming out with Black Adam. Take some of these dope ass black characters that we have in the comic book space and bring them to light. Spawn was a dope ass fucking movie, and that was a black character, and everybody loved Spawn, and that was kind of what kicked off like real life movie, like besides Batman and shit. But Spawn broke records. Blade, another fire ass comic book movie, like that, and people don't really know that came from the comic books. That was another dope ass comic that really jump started comic book movies and real life shit. So if there's a black Superman that has his own storyline and has his own different life and its own name, and it's not Clark Kent, and it doesn't live in fucking Kansas, and it goes on this fucking same path again, that would be dope. I'll be down with that. So I'll say news that if we'll go down that path.
So I think it's Henry Irons, who also was the black Superman with the iron suit that rised out of the ashes of Superman's death in the comic book. So that's another one. I mean, Shaq, I think, played that, but that film was weak. So that's another character, like you said, that something that they can rise up. I don't know. I'm conflicted. I say it's news only because this is a big deal. This is the first time. This is like making Captain America black, or making Spider-Man black, or making Batman black. So we'll see. I'll try to stay on the news story a little bit more to see how it develops. But it looks like they're trying to go for Superman Kal-El as a black actor playing him. A lot of people keep saying Michael B. Jordan, which would be kind of fucking cool. All right. So, news or no news, Tom Brady would give up 2 Super Bowl rings to have the 1 Super Bowl ring tied to the undefeated season.
I say no news just because I think if you're a rational human being, you would want a perfect season. So I agree with Tom Brady. Like I just say it's no news just because I would want that to happen. I would want to have a perfect season. Like it's only been done once, and I don't think it's ever going to be done in the modern era. And they came so close, but my fucking G-man came through and told Tom Brady what's up.
Twice.
Twice. Uh, so no news.
I say it's news only because I'm starting to get worried about Tom Brady a little bit. I feel like he's going to start circling LeBron James's camp because a couple weeks ago we didn't put it into this, but he starts talking about the jersey change shit, and we didn't really talk about that. Mm-hmm. So I say it's news now because now everybody hangs on anything that Tom Brady says. Of course you would want it, but to me, having less Super Bowl rings in a perfect season, I feel like it would be less perfect. I think him having 6 rings total. Like if he were 2 minus that would have been 4. I think 6 are more powerful than having.
Well, he has 7.
No, he has 6. Everybody's confused. He
sure?
tied the Steelers, I think the Giants, and another organization, I think even the Patriots, for having the same amount of hardware that the organizations have. Yes, he has 6 total. He's been to 9. 3. Yeah, 6 and 9. I think I'm correct on that. I hope I didn't fuck that up. Okay, news or no news? Caitlyn Jenner comes out and says that if you're a biological boy, you shouldn't be playing girl sports.
I agree.
News or no news though?
It's news just because at least somebody who is a biological man who transitioned to be a woman, understands that men, the biological body has an advantages against the female body.
But hold on, this is the thing, right? And I say this as news. So if you're saying girls and boys, right? What's the ceiling on girls and boys' age? 11, 10?
What do you mean?
Like, when do you get out a boy or the word girl?
Well, girl, I think they develop faster than boys anyway.
No, I get it, but just age-wise, would you like? I guess what I'm saying is. You stop being a boy and a girl when you become a teenager?
I guess, yeah.
Right? So what we put it at 13 then? Boy and girl?
I guess, yeah. But I was even 18 and up, that's when you're going to get out of...
No, that's still teens. So this is what I was going to say. Let's pretend it's 10 and under, right? You haven't even hit puberty. To be honest with you, why are we not doing more mixed sports? I'm not saying that it would fuck up the tea leaves, right? Like I'm trying to understand both sides of the argument here, right? So like if it's a travel team and they're playing other boys, I think that's going to be hard to kind of fuck that up. But if it's like a school sport, why can't a girl play baseball with the boys? Or why can't a boy play soccer with the girls? I mean, if they're under 10, there really is no biological disadvantage. They haven't hit puberty. You'd still think a 10-year-old boy, or let's go lower. You think an 8-year-old boy is faster than an 8-year-old girl?
Yes.
Okay, that's fair.
Because the way I see it is, I think girls should play in the boys' league. I think if a girl is good and she's dominating girls, she should be able to go play with the boys. But I don't think boys should go play with the girls.
Okay, that's actually a more interesting statement.
I think
I love that.
Because the girl dominating the other girls is not fun for the other girls. Even if, like, you got boys who dominate and are better than some other boys, but it's closer competition. Like, just for all physical attributes. Like, as far as I can remember, there was never a girl who was better than me that I could remember. In any sport I played, basketball, football, baseball, nothing. And if and it depends on the sport too. If it's tennis, okay, but if it's football, boys have a distinct advantage. Fighting, boys have a distinct advantage. Arm wrestling, boys have like it all depends on what it is. There's been a whole bunch of things. Like Serena Williams has played a top 100 ranked tennis player, top 200 ranked tennis player, and he slapped her. And he was ranked 200, and she's the #1 woman in the world. So there's like people get it confused. It's just use basic science. Biological boys are stronger than biological girls, and it's not that that hard, and I don't know why like people try to make it seem like it's not.
I think it's definitely different when they're adults because there's obviously a clear cut advantage. Do you think that this hurt news or no news? Do you think this hurts his campaign? Obviously, because he's trying to be, she's trying to be on the trans front, and obviously a lot of trans people are arguing this point a lot.
It just shows that somebody who's in the community says that there's advantages.
Okay.
Like I don't think you could be mad at somebody. It might hurt his political camp. I mean, her political campaign. Just because it's California.
Right. Yeah.
But if I think it was, let's say if you're running for Texas, or running for a red state.
For Florida. Yeah. It would be different for sure. Yes.
So
all right. News or no news? Elementary school paddles 6-year-old student, and then the mom films it. Where are we at on? First of all, let's take this story. News or no news?
Definitely news. I think it's kind of fucked up in a sense that the mother, I think she's like Nigerian or something, so she doesn't speak English very well. And obviously those people took advantage of the situation and of the mom, and maybe her seeing like, oh shit, this is kind of weird. But like, even if I was, again, this is all money motive quarterback again. But I'll let you reprimand my kid in the sense of telling them that they're wrong, but you're not hitting my kid.
Right.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care what language you're in. And if anything, I'm gonna hit my kid in front of you to show you that I discipline my kid.
Right.
But for you to do that, paddle thing in front of a mom, and the mom does nothing because she's scared because she's from another country, doesn't speak English very well. It's kind of fucked up. But I feel like if that principal just did that openly like that, it's not the first time.
100%. 100%. I think it's also like kind of a little bit tyrant because that's how we used to remember you had like the whole religious thing where they hit you with rulers and all this other stuff. I mean, like that's old school shit. We're way past that shit. If everybody gets trophies, I don't think we should be touching other people's kids, especially since we've moved away from some of those approaches and thinkings. But
I think real quick, sorry to cut you off.
No, not at all, please.
I just think that again, for this situation, I say it's fucked up. But again, you have a lot of these kids out here who are very disrespectful to their elders and disrespectful to their teachers. And then you got some of these parents who are young who will go and side with the kid right away, even if the kid is completely wrong. That kid is never going to know what's right and wrong if your parent never checks you. Like I check my kids since they were born. If you're wrong, you're wrong. One thing you never do is you go against your family, but if you screamed at an older person, if you disrespected an older person, if you disrespect your mom, your grandmother, aunt, I don't play that. I don't play that shit. You're not allowed to disrespect your elders because that's the way I was brought up, or most of us were brought up. So in this specific situation, I think it was mishandled by this principal. But there's other instances where, you got these badass fucking kids running around being disrespectful. So that's where I stand with it. What about you? What do you think? No news or no news?
I say it's news only because I don't even know, like I said, I didn't even know we were still doing this, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I came up a little bit different. Also, I was a little bit more old school. I don't remember getting hit. I was a horrible kid in school. I wasn't really that disrespectful. I was more like rambunctious. I was more like Dennis the Menace. I was causing shit, but I really wasn't disrespectful because I know my mom would come down, but I was definitely going ham. I just say it's news because, like I said, if all the kids are getting trophies, there's no way that they're getting hit at school. So I don't know. I don't even know where this happened, but this looks crazy.
In Florida.
That's a whole nother animal. Florida beats to their own drum.
And 19 states allow this, by the way. It's
wow. Wow, it would be interesting to look when those fucking laws were put in place, because I'm sure there was back in the day. I think that, to be honest with you, I feel like discipline comes in many forms, but I feel like also too, because the kids are a little bit smarter, I think you telling them that you're disappointed in them, and I know it's gonna sound lame, but I feel like if you talk to them like an adult, you can make them feel just as bad, and make them think about things. And I'm pretty honest with my kids too. Versus, I mean, I think that's like corporate punishment, bro. Why the fuck are you? And then with a paddle, like, what the fuck are we doing here? This is not this is not a college, like fraternity rush situation. I thought that was a little aggressive. But we'll move on. News or no news. It was a busy week, so I guess this probably wasn't our best news or no news. It was kind of all right, but we'll come harder in the paint next week. Draft day had me all excited, so we're gonna head into our new other favorite segment, Around the Leagues, which includes the NFL, the MLB, the NBA, and many others. So the ongoing drama in Green Bay. Have you been following some of the newer tea leaves or the new pieces of nuggets that have been dropped?
Yep.
Why didn't they move him? They had a perfect opportunity on draft day.
I would have tried to get as much as possible for him. Like,
yes.
Or I would have went, Texans, let's do a swap. I'll give you Airin, you give me Deshaun. I'll take the Deshaun, whatever suspension is going to come down the pipeline, if there is any, and I hope there is not any. But I'll be like, Texans, here you go. You get Aaron Rodgers. Give me Aaron Rodgers, 2 first-round picks, or just we'll do an even swap. We'll give you an aging quarterback. You give us Deshaun that has his baggage right now, and we'll go from there.
They both have baggage. It would be like a pretty even deal. I think that Green Bay is being really silly about this, right? Where they're kind of taking the Texas approach, which is interesting that you bring up the Texas, and this is like, well, no, you belong to us. So whether you want to play disgruntled or not, you're staying. You're under contract. Now, I get it. But if homeboy wants to leave and he's at the height or closer to his height, the value on Aaron Rodgers is through the roof. You would definitely get a king's ransom for him. You can go to any team. Now you lost your opportunity in a draft that was full of players, in a draft that was full of quarterbacks specifically, and now you're stuck with him. Now stories are coming out that he's in group chats, throwing the GM under the bus. Aaron Jones comes out and says that he believes that the drama could be fixed. Now, when you say the drama could be fixed, what does that mean? Do we got to pay Aaron Rodgers more money so he could be happier? Like, I don't understand. Like, does Aaron Rodgers want to win chips, or does Aaron Rodgers want to get paid? Plus, Aaron Rodgers keeps tanking in playoff games. I said it. To bring your Giants into this shit, he got smoked at home by a wild card team. Twice. He just got smoked by one recently. And I'm not saying that Tampa Bay is at the level of the Giants, but both of those teams ended up winning the chip. You've lost multiple games at home. Multiple.
1-4 in the NFC Championship game.
That's terrible.
And in that one game he won, it was against Caleb Haney or some shit like that. It was the backup to the Bears because Jay Cutler was hurt.
Listen, Aaron, I love you, bro. But you need to relax, bro. And I actually didn't even say that because I don't even like you. I don't love you. You need to RELAX. You need to relax, dude, because you're not that dope, and you got bad baggage.
And I think he's been in the league 16 years. He's only won 1 chip. I think
it's time to call it, bro.
If I was the Packers, I would have moved on. I would have set an example like, listen, we run the organization here.
Yes.
The players do not run the organization here.
No.
You got a lot of these guys who, especially in the media, like, oh my God, you have Aaron Rodgers, and blah, 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 blah. Aaron Rodgers hasn't won a lot of championships, and his playoff record is horrendous. He's like, I think, at 500 or below 500 in his playoff record. And I get it. The Packers haven't done a great job of surrounding him with talent. His defenses have never been. I think he's at 1 top 10 defense or 2 top 10 defenses, and one of those resulted in a Super Bowl win. But like, he has played bad in a lot of these games when it comes to especially the NFC title games. He's 1-4. He has a terrible QBR in these games, and I don't understand why. Especially with him, just move off him. Get as much as you fucking can for him. He just came over MVP season. When he came out and announced it on draft day that he doesn't want to be a Packer anymore, I would have been like, perfect.
You're done, bro. Let's go.
I'll trade you for Matt Ryan and a number 4 pick. They could have got Matt Ryan at the quarterback, and they could have got Kyle Pitts at the tight end. and then you would get Aaron Rodgers to the Falcons. Like they could have done things where you could have moved on and did it the right way, but for whatever reason they were prideful. The Packers organization, for whatever reason, and now they missed the opportunity in this draft. Now I don't know, where do you go to do a deal? Like what team can you go and
you're gonna have to trade quarterback for quarterback and picks for the next year, and nobody's gonna be moved.
Exactly. Like I'm trying to, like I said, I would do the Texans.
That's like the only one. It's either that or Russ. Those are the only guys that are on the block.
Or if I was my Giants, I'll go and be like, yo, here's 4 first-round picks and Daniel Jones.
I'll give you the house. We said it, I think, a couple weeks ago. I give you everything to get Rodgers. Especially now, we're going to get into it in a second. The G-Men look like they've done some upgrading, at least on the offensive side of the ball. You bring in you Shepard. They draft the wide receiver. There's some things blossoming in New York. I just tell you this. If he can't, first of all, it's weird. And I want to put this in here too. And we're going to go into it. So remind me that I want to make a comment about the Mets. New York City has to be one of the hardest places to play in. You know why? Because the fans fucking boo.
Yep.
All right. Taking it to Green Bay, right? Listen, Wisconsin, I love you guys, right? But there's no media presence there, right? So Aaron Rodgers is like the big swinging dick on campus. No one is scrutinizing his play. No one is asking him tough questions. After games, he's getting layups. I'm sure when he's going on the road, they might be fucking with him. But again, Detroit, really? Reporters in Detroit are asking tough questions. Reporters in Minnesota are asking tough questions. Like, first of all, let's go to that really quickly. You've had the worst division in fucking football. You've made it to the playoffs every single year. And you got one chip. And that one chip, the Steelers could have beaten you. Because one of the greatest plays in the NFL was Harris going to the house on a 101-yard fucking return. The Steelers played everything they could. I think Ben maybe didn't play up to his thing, but Ben has always pulled out miracles because Ben is a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he got 2 chips.
Right? So now, if you bring him to New York, I don't even know if he can handle the media circus in New York. He might be better off going to, Seattle or maybe coming down to Texas where it's going to be easier. But I just feel like this is another question I wanted to ask you. Is Aaron Rodgers overrated?
A little bit.
Right?
I would say he's a little bit overrated. And,
yes.
And
like he's now like circling the block of overrated.
Yeah. And then people don't want to hear that because he's so gifted at throwing the football. But you got Patrick Mahomes comes in the league and takes over the league. MVP, Super Bowl again.
Lamar Jackson was in the fucking league for a second and fucking ran the house.
Exactly.
Literally. So what the fuck are you doing?
So that's what I'm saying. You just got to move off. It sucks. So I am all about player empowerment. I think players should dictate where they go. It's their legacy. You have a small finite amount of time. Even though 15 years sounds like a lot, it's a small ass time for your whole life. If you live to 80, you play 15 years of football. That's not a lot of fucking time.
That's not even a third. Yeah.
So I think you got these players who should dictate where they want to go, who they want to play with, what these organizations, who they should draft, who they should surround themselves with. But at the end of the day, you got to perform too. This is why Tom Brady got who he got, because he brings a winning culture. You have Bruce Arians coming out saying we're not getting Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is not coming here. He's not a fit. Tom Brady said, "We're getting."
Take it easy, bro.
Relax.
Take it easy, bro.
And Leonard Fournette, another one. He had some baggage. We're getting Leonard Fournette. So Tom Brady, just his osmosis, everybody came back.
Yep. Guy's a G. I've been yelling about it since fucking like 08, bro.
So if you win, people will follow, and you hold yourself accountable. The thing with Aaron Rodgers too, he has this little bratty attitude to him, where like he's just too good for everybody. If somebody runs the wrong route, damn, you went that way, you're supposed to go this way. Like, why the fuck you showing up on the field? Like he's doing that in the middle of a game.
He spazzes a lot.
Like on a field. What the fuck do you want a grown ass man to? How's he gonna reply to you?
You punking fools. You're punking adult dudes.
And he's taking the max every single opportunity he's had too.
Agreed. I've never heard Aaron Rodgers once restructure his contract. Not once.
Mm-hmm.
Not once.
So like, which one is it? I didn't want to bring this up. I think I'm gonna bring it up. I want to talk about it next week. I want to go through the
Let's
last.
preview it. Let's preview it.
I want to go to the last 10 years. The top 5 quarterbacks of the last 10 years.
Sick. I love this story.
And I could guarantee you, none of them won a championship. So we're gonna go. I want to do that next week.
That's a fucking mic drop. Okay, moving on. So we'll go with me, and we'll go with you, and then we'll go to me, and we'll hang around here for a little bit. Are you happy with your overall draft?
I was
as a New York Giant, so the fans know, and the listeners get it.
I was a little confused of why we took a wide receiver.
What? First of all, hold on. Let me pause it real quick. Did the Giants trade their pick to the Bears, or that trade already happened?
No, we traded it during the draft.
Why would you do that?
We traded back to get more picks in the second round and third round.
I get that, but why?
I don't know. If I was us, we should have drafted Justin Fields.
Facts. What the fuck?
By Daniel Jones. I don't understand why we have this fixation about Daniel Jones.
I don't get it. I don't. Joe Judge and Gettleman. I think it's Gettleman, right? The GM. What in the fuck do you see in Daniel Jones? Nothing. He's a bum. He's not a good quarterback. He's an okay quarterback. He's at the bottom 20 league. Like, how long has he been in the building for? 4 years or 3 years?
Going on 3 years.
We've seen enough. Sorry, bro. We've seen enough.
He's a turnover machine.
This also brings up a point. Is Gettleman racist? Because this is the second time he passes on a black quarterback. He took Daniel Jones over Haskins, right? Now, Haskins, obviously, we get it, but also could have been an institutional thing. Listen, don't tell me that you're throwing 40 touchdowns in college and then you come to the NFL and you forget how to play quarterback. Like, come on, bro. That's impossible, right? That could be you not doing the homework, but if I let you go, if I let you free, like, homie, just, I wonder if you could do this as a coach. Bro, check it out. Just let everybody run streaks and then see what you got, because that's what they do in college. Just every play is streaks, or we're going to run it up the gut and give a guy an opportunity. Now, I'm making obviously an interesting comparison, but Justin Fields is way better than fucking Haskins, and he's way fucking better than Daniel Dimes.
I don't know why we did. That's what I would have done. I would have got Justin Fields, or I would have tried to trade up a little bit more, and I would have wanted to go get one of the old the offensive linemen. I would have probably see if I could have traded, move up and traded with Detroit, or move up and traded with somebody who I could have got, Penei Sewell. They're saying that's one of the best rated offensive linemen they've ever seen. And give, Daniel Jones, more protection. Give Saquon Barkley an actual O-line to run behind. We haven't seen actually Saquon run behind a great offensive line. I was a little just dumbfounded in why we got another wide receiver. We have like 7 wide receivers now, And you
didn't even get a good one. Sorry. We see this. No, I don't care. The guys were Alabama and LSU. Don't give me, if I tell you like here's, a steak and lobster and you give me chicken, I'm like, bro, I thought the options was steak and lobster. How the fuck did I get chicken? How the fuck, like steak and lobster? That's what you said. Steak was motherfucking my man, Chase, and lobster was Devontae. And then you go for, I never even heard of, like I was doing checks and balances on some of the top players. This guy he didn't cross. I don't know, like what?
Yeah,
what are we doing?
I was confused. I've been banging on my chest for the last 7 years. Draft offensive linemen to give your quarterback time to throw the fucking football and give your running backs lanes to run. Tom Brady is the fucking GOAT. Why? Because he gets rid of the ball quickly and he never gets touched. So protect the fucking quarterback. Eli Manning got his, granted, he threw a lot of picks, but our offensive lines were never that great with Eli Manning too. When Eli Manning had protection, he was a sniper. But when we don't got good offensive linemen, there's nothing we can do. You can't. You're gonna force an unathletic quarterback to get fucked up, because any quarterback could, if you're a good or a good or average quarterback and you have time and you can read progressions, you're good. But if you're getting rushed off your spots, you suck, and that's been proven, and that's Tom Brady's Achilles kryptonite.
That's all quarterbacks' Achilles heel.
All of them.
If I get to you, you're done.
Look at Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. He was fucking running for his life.
Bro, Deshaun Watson, fucking Russell Wilson, everybody. Like, if I start chasing this guy, there's only so much you can fucking do.
Exactly. So I thought overall we did a good job with our draft. I like our defense.
Look at all the picks. Did you look at all the picks?
Yeah, we got another.
Yeah, tell me what you got, because you got a wide receiver nobody's heard of.
We got a wide receiver. We got another cornerback to match up with Daniel Bradbury. Something Bradbury. I always forget his name. We got a defensive end, if I'm not mistaken. Tell you right now. Hold on.
Yeah. You take your time, because to be honest with you, I thought they shit the bed, and I think it was NFL Network. I forget what they said that the Giants had the 5th best offseason.
Yeah, so we got the round one. We got the Kadarius Toney, which is the wide receiver in the first round, which I thought was confused. Then we got a outside linebacker.
Okay.
Which we needed. Our linebacker core sucks. We got a cornerback, Aaron Robinson.
Okay.
We got.
I feel like all projects.
I don't know why we took two cornerbacks. I thought that was kind of weird. And we just signed one, Adoree Jackson. We signed him in offseason.
I like that Adoree Jackson shit, but apparently he's coming off of an injury, so they're skeptical. But he got a hell of a deal. I like them. I think he played for Texas previously, or the Patriots. One of those two. He might have played for both teams.
We took 3 cornerbacks in the draft.
Yeah, what are we doing here, New York Giants? So you basically left one of the best quarterbacks, best wide receivers. Even you could argue that they could have traded down to get a tight end, to give Daniel Jones more players to throw to.
Well, we signed one, so that's why.
Please, first of all, I've been watching this guy. What is this dude's name? So I could just
Kyle Rudolph.
Kyle Rudolph is a fucking bum. Okay, he's been in the league 10 years. I've drafted him a few times. He is terrible. Do not call him a tight end. That guy's a blocker. He doesn't do nothing. Don't fucking try to tell me, if I was a Giants fan, that you brought in a tight end with this guy. And you literally potentially had the greatest tight end, right? According to all the Mel Kipers and all of these other draft gurus, I would have gotten the best player on the board. What are we doing? At least the Falcons, they suck. But one time they seen the best player on the board and they gave everything to get him. I don't understand. All right, going to my squad. I think my squad killed. And I'm not even trying to be a homer. I'm still suspect on Zach Wilson, only because he's a little smaller. But I like that they go get a guard. I like after that they get a versatile wide receiver. They back that up with a running back. They get 2 smash mouths corners. They got one of the guys from FSU, who I always think FSU defensive players are fire. The last guy who was an FSU player who I was always banging on my chest for that I loved was Jalen Ramsey. So I really digged it. And now, bringing that into the line that we did on the offseason, we got, Corey Davis. I thought Corey Davis was a little strange only because he wasn't some of the headliners in the wide receiver department. You had Juju and you had the guy that you signed, but obviously those 2 guys lasted on the on free agency for a long time. So there might have been something wrong that we don't know from the insiders. But overall, I'm happy with it. They get Carl Lawson. They bring in, Sheldon Rankin from the Saints as a nose tackle. They also get Vinny Curry from the Eagles, another defensive end that's going to be in the mix. They bring in one of my guys that I enjoyed him, Joyner, who I think he's a hard-hitting safety, but they keep putting him at corner. But it looks like this year they're going to be moving him into the safety position. I think overall the Jets definitely stole the offseason and the draft from the Giants. I was a head scratching because I literally texted you like, did the Giants take? And then it said I had to read it again because it said trade to the Bears. I was like, what in the fuck?
We'll see, man. You guys got a rookie. You got a rookie head coach. You got Zach Wilson, who looks 11. And they trying to say Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, junior
comparisons, whatever. Yeah, but how that goes.
I don't know how it goes. I just said on paper right now, I'm happy for an organization that stinks up the joint all the time. At least looking forward, we get a diverse coach. We also get a guy who's running a Niners offense, and the Niners actually have Shanahan's offense is fire. I've always digged it. I still have concerns on our offensive line, but it's okay. We'll deal with it, and we'll see. But I felt like the Giants had a really good opportunity to steal a really good player in the top 10, and they back out of it for 3 quarterbacks. I'm not impressed with that. At least the Jets Zach Wilson was supposed to be the guy. They get the guy, and then they traded down to get one of the top end offensive linemen. I don't know if you've seen that, but they got I thought that was gutsy. So we'll see. And the dude was wheeling and dealing all day. He was trading picks to the Raiders. He was trading picks to the Chiefs. Like, from a GM, Joe Douglas, I'll fucks with you, bro. At least you're trying. Because over the last 10 years, we haven't been trying. But we'll get off of it. And like I said, I definitely know there's obviously going to be more to the story moving forward. All right, I'm going to try to speed up through these next few things. Out of all the landing spots in the drafts, who did you like the most? Who do you think is going to have? Let's go with the. We'll stop at Chase. Actually, no, we'll stop at the Lions. That was 7, right? With the Swell. Out of those guys, who do you think is going to have the most success out the gate?
Probably Kyle Pitts, just because he's going to have all the one-on-one matchups with linebackers, and and if they put a safety on him or a cornerback, it's going to be a smaller guy. He's 6'6", 230.
He's going to be playing slot corners. Yes,
exactly. So I think he's going to have the most upside. It's hard to say for offensive tackles. You know, as long as he doesn't give up a sack or opens up holes for a running back, then we'll know at the end of the season. But Trevor Lawrence, he's he landed with a lot of good weapons. Like DJ Chark is good, James Robinson's good. I was surprised they took another running back in the draft. I thought they were going to go, another wide receiver or another tight end. Instead they took a blocking tight end, which is kind of a little weird. But I guess they know that they're gonna probably be behind in some of these games, and they're just gonna probably be throwing it most of the time. So I think Trevor Lawrence has an opportunity to probably flourish because he's gonna be behind a lot and put up some big numbers.
Airing it out.
Zach Wilson, I don't know. It's a little scary just because one is the Jets and two is Zach Wilson. He really didn't light up college like that. Trey Lance is probably not going to play until maybe the halfway part of the season. So, who knows what happens there. Who else we have? Penei Sewell, like I said.
And then I think my pick, I would just say, I think that with your tight end with Pitts, I think that's a great one. I would say in second place, Jamal Chase. If Burrow could come back in a timely fashion, they're both were in college together. I think that's going to be instant chemistry. I think that last year you could tell when he was playing that the offense was clicking. I think having another big physical wide receiver over there is probably going to be helpful, and hopefully he doesn't have to hold the ball for 10 seconds to wait for this guy to run a deep dig or a slant or a comeback route. Hopefully they move this guy all around the field. So I think that would be another guy that we could probably see emerge as having a good rookie season.
The only issues that I have was they needed him to get offensive line help.
Right.
So like Jamar Chase was cool, was flashy, but they should have took Penei Sewell. That's who the Bengals should have taken. Not a wide receiver. T. Higgins is good. I love T. Higgins. You'll be fine. Like these guys were, the offense was clicking.
They were clicking last year.
And the reason why he got hurt, why? Because he was running for his fucking life. And he got hurt because he's running for his life and got fucking destroyed.
Oh my God.
So
hey. Oh no, go ahead, finish. And I want to ask
you want to pay these guys $40 million a year, but you don't want to protect them. I don't
understand.
I don't get it.
So I wanted to ask you really quickly, did you see this Urban Meyer story?
About which one? About Tim Tebow? Okay. I get it. I get it from a standpoint of him bringing championship pedigree in the sense of winning 2 college titles back to back. That's hard to do, and it really hasn't been done like that. I think bringing somebody in who is an older guy, who's a veteran, who knows how to win, talk shit about Tim Tebow and how he played the quarterback position. He won.
I agree with
he has a winning. He has a winning record. He brings some fire, and I get the whole religion shit could be over the top and a little bit annoying, sometimes. But that's how he is. He wears his emotions on the sleeve. He wears his religion on the sleeve. I think if you have somebody who is gonna go to battle with you, I'd rather get somebody who's passionate and who's going to play hard and bring some experience. Because there's nobody in that locker room who's really a vet, who's going to step up and be a Ray Lewis kind of dude. Not saying, he's not the caliber of Ray Lewis, the player, but he could bring that fire of, saying, hey, guys, look, I've been here. I won games. I went to the playoffs. I beat the Steelers in the playoff game. I got slapped by the Patriots. So, you could bring all these stories and these ebbs and flows and have these fringe players who were like, say, hey, listen, they didn't give me a shot on the Jets because X, Y, and Z. They didn't give me a shot on the Patriots like X, Y, and Z. They didn't give me a shot on the Eagles because X, Y, and Z. So, get your shit together. Study the playbook. I feel like it's going to be more an assistant coach as a player that Urban Meyer knows, respects, and I'm pretty sure has been in contact with him throughout, this 6-7 years he's been out the league.
I also think that him playing baseball and dealing with that adversity probably brings a little bit more to the fold too, because now he can talk about, not only his college experience, his professional experience, whether it be baseball and football. And like you said, he definitely won, and it sucks that they weren't able to get him the tools or put him in a place where he could have won more. All right, I just wanted to get that. We'll move on just because we're going against the clock here a little bit. So I know you don't watch that much baseball, right?
Not a lot.
All right. But replay is not working in the MLB. It's not. It's not. I watched. My wife is becoming a huge baseball fan. I think it's awesome and I think it's fun. She's also, a big fan of Tatis and the boys over there, the Latino swag that's happening with Eric Hosmer and Manny Machado and Tatis. That's all dope, right? But I watched 30 games in 3 days. I can't tell you how many blown calls they were. And they went to the review and they still blew them. So, first of all, and I want to bring in the NFL into this too. Okay, so we're complaining about fans, right? As fans, we're complaining that games are too long. All right? You should be hearing that. We brought this in about COD earlier, right? Like, why are you not listening to your fan base? If the call is not being made on the field, NFL, MLB, then why are referees going to the fucking sideline? You should have a mic that says, it's good, go, it's bad, go. Why are we wasting time? Why are we wasting time? And to bring the MLB into this, why are you wasting time and still getting it wrong? They're not making the call on the field. Why the fuck do I have to have umpires fucking go there? Now, granted, it might be dope because if I was in the stadium, I could get another hot dog and another beer. But MLB, bro, I dare you to start watching games. It is atrocious what the umpires are doing to the game in the sense of blown calls. And now I just had on, shout out to Emmanuel Laura, just had him on real quick for a new segment. I called it high heat, but I'm going to change it to taking heat. And we talked about this. The strike zone is all over the fucking place. I've seen the same umpire low and away call strike and it be in the same place and call it ball. So what the fuck are we doing here? Like, I don't want MLB, please. What is happening? So I know you don't watch the game, but bro.
I know what you mean because you have it's been like that for a long time. I say for the last 15 years, 10 years. But more like the last 10 years, where you see the catcher, the ball's on the outside, and they bring it to the middle, and then the umpire calls a strike, and I'm like, what are you doing, Why are you, how do you not see him reach down?
It's called framing, by the way. It's called framing when the catcher fucking puts it in. Like, are you that senile that you blinked, and then homeboy went from here to here?
Yeah, I don't understand what the fuck is going on with that. I've had this issue with baseball for a long time. Baseball has been boring. They need an influx of talent. They need to revamp the strike zone area. I don't know where wiffle ball has the fucking strike zone in the back, and if it hits in between this shit, it's a strike. And so be it. And I get it. You want to have some human element to the game, but
the humans are getting it wrong. So to me, that human element shit is garbage.
Because
we're in the future. There should be some kind of computerness. That way, at least, even if you're doing that, at the end of the game, you'd have been like, yo, out of 100 strikes you called, you only got 60 right. Like, it doesn't even seem like there's scrutiny to the umps for getting it right. They're just like, well, he's just known for having a large strike zone. Bullshit. You're costing games. And to bang harder, that man on second, I watched it this weekend. It favors the home team. It's garbage. I literally seen a man on second, pass ball, he goes to third, stupid hit, home, game over. So now, right, watch this. Not only are you getting fucking calls wrong on the field with fucking replay, not only do you have a horrible strike zone, you don't want extra innings, and you're favoring all the home teams. This is bullshit. I would not watch that product. And I will continue to watch your product so that I can keep fucking bringing you guys and saying this. Jay, garbage. I swear to God, I dare you to watch. And you never got to watch it live. Go to YouTube. They cut up all the games, 10 minutes. Watch all the games. It is incredible. I seen the Mets-Philly game. It was a home run, and they called it back. I was like, what? They don't even know how to call home runs anymore. Because to me, I thought that if it passed the yellow line, right, which is the border around the whole place, right, it's a home run. But it hit a rail, so because it hit the rail over the yellow line, it wasn't a home run. So now what? The rail is the yellow line? What?
They just pick and choose, man, and it sucks because like I played it in the show, and I've lost a game or two with the whole man on second base, where the pop fly, the guy moves over to third, then a single, and the game's over. I think it's stupid. I think it's a rule that needs to be taken out. These guys are getting paid hundreds and millions of dollars to play this game. This whole, and I get it. Like baseball is boring, and I wouldn't mind messing around with the idea of a 1-1 count to start. You know, like put pressure on these batters to put the ball in play. Put pressure on these pitchers to throw strikes. You know, like you could put it in a situation like that. Try it in the minor leagues first. See what happens. Try it in AAA. So with a 1-1. You know, it happens in softball. I know softball and baseball are two different things, but in certain leagues, you start with a strike and one strike, one ball. So you force these guys to, you know, throw strikes and elevate the game. Make the game more fun and more exciting. And I don't get it. I don't get it.
Listen. Charge more fucking money for the jerseys. Cut the season down in half. Get rid of the shift and bring back juice balls. Because let me tell you something. If you and I went to a baseball game or we were watching a baseball game on TV, Jay, and there was like the score was like 8-10 and it was all home runs, guess what? We're going to watch.
Yep.
But when it's 0-1 or 1-1 the whole game and then we get to the 10th and it's the home team and you put a guy on second and a pass ball happens and he gets to third, first of all, the pressure of a pitcher having a guy on third definitely changes his pitch selection.
Of course.
And he's probably throwing balls that guy is going to take advantage of.
And then, okay, so most people don't know this, or if you watch baseball, you do know this. So you have from the stretch is a normal, and then you have a different approach to when somebody is on base. Mm-hmm. So when somebody is on base, you then have to start your pitch basically from the side when you have somebody on base. When you don't have anybody on base, the pitcher starts straight forward. And then the motions are different. The way you throw a curveball is different because you started from here, then you turn, and then you throw. But when somebody's on base, you already start from here. So that changes everything. So putting, and I get it. Listen, even the pitcher, you're getting paid millions of dollars to get out of the situation anyway. Like
I get that, but there's also a certain thing about putting an unfair advantage. Right? Like,
well,
I didn't put
the away for sure, but the away team gets it too.
No, I get that, but what I was saying is that I seen it so I talked to shout out to Diane Medina. The first time I seen it, I was like, this is unfair. She said, how is it unfair? Both teams get it. What I noticed when I watched it on the weekend was that there was less pressure on the home team to produce runs.
I would have to, again, we would have to see it.
Watch it. Start watching.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying it might be bad to the eye, but I would have to see the data. So, like, let's say if the data comes at the end of the year and it says more away teams won than home teams, then who has the advantage? You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that. 100%. But now, even if it's the away team or the whole team, that means that right now, the way it's set, there's no extra innings in baseball because a fucking, like, bullshit play can happen and the game is over.
Yep.
A bullshit play. I told you, a pass ball, that's not even like a legitimate offensive play. And he moves to third. So, again, I thought if you're going to do it, put him at first. I like your idea of 1-1, forces the guys. All right, we're going to keep going. All right. How sad are you that the Angels forced Albert Pujols to retire?
I guess it was about time. They signed him to this contract. He didn't live up to the contract. They didn't. I think they went to the postseason once with him there. They didn't win any chips with him. It's just time. He's batting 198 now.
Shit.
It's time to move on. You get somebody $250 million. He's already, I think, a 2-time or 3-time champion. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, with the
Cardinals. He's already, his legacy's set. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He still has the opportunity to go somewhere else. I don't see anybody picking him up unless it's a gimmick to bring fans in. You're like Mr. 3000, but Bernie Mac. You bring somebody just to bring fans in, make some money. Or who knows? He was over in LA. Maybe he just didn't like the LA lifestyle. Who knows what happens? If he went to the Padres, they have a big Latin presence there. He gets revitalized with the young guys. I doubt the Yankees would do it.
That's what I thought about. That's what
he would have to go to an AL
yeah.
team just because of DH. I don't see him. He could be in the field.
Right.
But we don't know. Who knows?
Right. Yeah.
But that was my guy.
I know it was a lot of guys for us. I mean, I think he was probably, I'm not going to say the first famous Latino player, but the level of conviction from a hitter standpoint that Fat Albert bought. I know everybody in our camp was excited when we were growing up watching him. He definitely bought a lot more eyeballs. So from not St. Louis to watching the Cardinals, he was great. And as a Latino, I'm a little sad. It would be cool if he landed somewhere, even if, like you were saying, like a Tim Tebow thing to just bring some experience. It would also be interesting to me if you brought him to the NL. If he could just be a pitch hitter and just have him on the sidelines coaching dudes up on how to take pitches and how to understand pitches and breaking all that down. So I am a little sad. I also don't think he lived up to his contract, but that's the thing again, right? And it sucks, man. It's like a two-headed sword where you want to play guys, but do guys play when they get paid? Okay, staying with the Angels. How impressed are you about Ohtani? He pitches every 5 days and he DHs and he plays in every game and he's hitting bombs.
They need to bring more Japanese guys over. Bring them all over. Bring all the stars. All the guys who hit 70 home runs over there and bat 500. Look at Ichiro. He played 10 seasons over there. He came over here and crushed. What if he would have been here from jump? How more?
Hideki Matsui. Hideki Matsui was a
guy.
fucking star.
Start bringing these guys over. Like
Tanaka is got crazy numbers as a pitcher, and he was only a fucking Yankee for like 5 years.
And there's another guy who we didn't win with him, but he had crazy. He had crazy numbers. He dominated. Bring these guys over and see what they can do. Remember, the Yankees paid $50 million just to talk to him.
I know. It's like the rules that they have with international football. You have to play the club first and then you have to pay the player. But who cares? They got fucking money coming out of his ears. I'm tired of fucking owners talking about money. They fucking have so fucking much of it. Oh, you lost $1 billion, but you still have $10 billion. Just relax, bro, and give the fans something to watch. All right, we're going to switch gears real quick to the NBA because we just did the NFL and the MLB. I know you're going to say no. Tom Thibodeau, Coach of the Year? Come on.
He's up there.
Organization around, bro.
I could say that. Again, new data. How I changed my opinion. I don't have no problem with that. Then fourth seed now? If they keep winning, I think they get to the third seed.
Bro, I think that they're like they in their last 10, they're like 10-0 or some shit like that, 9-1. And their last 15, they're like 12-3. Like they're winning, and it's not against bum. I mean, they're not against bum. It's legitimate wins.
It'll be a tough thing because you have Steve Nash on the East. Dealing with all those injuries, he's up for a Coach of the Year candidate.
That's fair.
You got Phoenix, the Phoenix Suns. They might be the 1 seed.
What the fuck is up in Phoenix? Wow, good. Congratulations to them. I can't believe CP3 turned that whole shit around. I know it's not just him.
You even have, I know it happened a little late. Like I think it happened like 15, 20 games late. But you have Nick McMillan with the Atlanta Hawks. He's completely turned the Atlanta Hawks around. Made them a beast in the East. Doc Rivers with the Sixers. He could be up for the, so there's a lot of potential guys who have better records than the Knicks and who's dealt with similar adversity. So
do you think that this is something that they could build off of? Because I've seen this happen before with the 1 year wonder, and then next year happens, and then something happens, and they just don't produce the same. Is this something that the Knicks can build off of?
I hope so. I just hope they don't. I get Julius Randle right now is cooking, and he is the guy.
I told you, MVP season to me. I know he's not going to win
but is he a guy who could play within a system with other players who are better than him?
Right.
We seen that when he was in he had his own team, and he was in the Pelicans. And people try to forget he was in the Pelicans. He was that good.
He came from the Lakers too, right?
Yeah.
From the Lakers. He was trash over there.
Exactly. So, we seen him be on losing teams and not winning and being in the West. So he's in the East. He's not that fantastic. But who's, if they could get Lonzo Ball, they get a legitimate point guard who's a hard-nosed defensive player, who's a knockdown three-point shooter. We just need stars to come. That's the issue. Like, if KD wasn't a bitch and would have signed with the Knicks and didn't follow Kyrie to Brooklyn, that would have been a nice little, little team.
Easy.
Kyrie, KD, you would have had, Julius Randle there, young bench. Then who's to know next season, to see what happens.
It sucks that Dolan has made such a joke and laughing stock of the Knicks that I feel like even big stars, because I've heard out of LeBron James's mouth that he wanted to play in New York, and for many reasons he just didn't come. So that sucks. I hope that we can move forward to this. I think that it's kind of cool. I mean, I already threw his thing in there. I think NBA News threw it in there too. It'd be interesting how many votes Tom would get. But I thought Tom was a beast when he was in Chicago, and a lot of people hated on him because he played a low scoring basketball. He plays really good defense. That's his concept as a coach.
Hard.
I don't give a fuck. I like his swagger. His shit is dope. Hopefully we can stay with it. All right, moving on real quick. How good is Russell Westbrook? I know he's a team player, but as an individual guy, this guy is awesome or not?
He is great in the sense of he's the only player ever to play hard on every possession that we've ever seen. But the sad part is it hasn't resulted in championships, and it hasn't resulted to getting to a lot of championships. And
also, that triple-double shit for him taking the overall from Oscar Robertson. I mean, the guy's he's just a beast, bro. I don't understand why he can't play with other guys. I just don't understand that.
He's gonna go down like Allen Iverson, a great iconic player who just didn't live up to the full potential of winning championships. And Stephen A. said it best. He's first ballot Hall of Famer, fantastic player. But we've already seen this. You're gonna average a triple-double for 4 of the last 5 years, and you're gonna get exited in the first round again. That's not resulting to winning. We're not resulting to winning. So that's
I got it. That sucks. I mean, the guy's magic. Fucking dude just scores like a fucking animal. And it's true what you said. I like that take probably the most. Just plays hard. So hard. I wonder what it would be like if he was on the Lakers to have a guy like LeBron James to kind of temper him down. Because I feel like LeBron would probably be the only guy who could be able to speak to him like, yo, just chill. We got this. We're going to blow up. And then also give the Knicks that like crazy tenacity. I mean, the Lakers that crazy tenacity, because I think like the Lakers, obviously without Davis and without fucking LeBron, have just shit the bed, and their bench is not as good as it was last year. Obviously, I don't even know. I feel like the Lakers, everybody, you said it, Clippers, Nets. It seems like the Lakers, if they keep on losing games, they're just going to get bumped in the first round, and I read a headline that said that LeBron James might not even make it back. So, but yeah, so that concludes around the leagues. That was a little longer. I always like picking your brain on the NBA the most, just because I know you watch games and you find it interesting. So it's time for Critics Corner. We're gonna look back. I'm gonna do some homework. Hopefully, the next few weeks, try to look back at our overall winning losing record here. I know we haven't put too many wins up. There's been tons of losses, especially with MK last week and King Kong, and then Princess Diane. Or is it Diana? Princess Diana, she fucked up the whole place. Justice League fucked up the whole place. Little Things wasn't really great. I think I Don't Care was one of our favorites. Yep. I think Cherry got a little love. Yep. But this week we're going to do the Amazon film of Without Remorse with Michael B. Jordan. What you think?
I thought one, it was action-packed. I thought it was fantastic. The action was fucking fire. What I expected. A1, fantastic. I thought the acting was pretty good.
I thought so too.
It's gonna be a hot take.
There we go.
There's never been a woman Navy SEAL.
Right. That's what what's so funny? I watched it, right? Thought it was fire. So then I tell my baby who has served in the military, I go, honey, didn't you tell me there was no? She's like,
so like, and I get it. You want to have this woman empowerment. You want to have black women empowerment.
That's a lie.
Like, there's never been a black.
A lie. Forget about black. They don't even fucking bring in black. There's never been no woman.
To be a Navy SEAL ever.
No special forces has been a female. I mean, G.I. Jane was fake, guys. Come on.
Yes. So that bothered me a little bit. But overall,
you think that was just a grab?
Of course, it was virtue
Right?
signaling. That was his women
Okay, cool.
empowerment, black women, blah, blah, women
Okay.
of all
Even though I love her, she was great.
Yeah,
as
she was
Slim
dope.
and Queen. That movie was fire. I love Slim and Queen.
She was
Love that
dope. She was dope. The character was dope. I just couldn't find it realistic because it's not real. That
Right.
part
It
of
would have
it.
been cooler if she was like in charge of those dudes
Yeah.
and like, represented them from, like a political standpoint. Because that part, her going back and forth and everything like that was cool. But yeah, continue.
I thought it was a good movie. I didn't think it was complete trash. I didn't think it was great either. I thought it was a good, entertaining movie. I thought the movie. I think it was a little too long. Maybe 15 minutes too long. I think it would have been the sweet spot.
Lighter. Uh-huh.
There was extra credits at the end of the movie. A lot of people
Was there?
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know that. So
What happened?
it's setting up for a part 2. I seen a little bit. I didn't see the whole thing.
Okay.
Because I got distracted when it came on. So it's kind of basically setting up for another one.
For sure.
Kinda
It looked like it was ready for that, especially when they had all the seals getting, berated from all different directions. By the way, spoiler alert. This whole thing is spoiler full.
Spoiler alert for sure.
Right.
I thought it was dope. Michael B. Jordan, I just hope he doesn't peghole himself to, like, he was Killmonger, which was a dope ass character in Wakanda, but this was kind of like an extension of that. I thought, it was kind of whack that Laura London was in the movie for like a minute and a half. And
Who's Laura London? His wife?
The shorty that got killed.
Yeah. I don't know.
The
I don't
actress,
know who she was smoking hot, but I didn't know who she was.
Yeah, so she died, within the first 4 seconds of the movie.
For first 4 minutes. Let's give her the time.
I thought they were gonna build at least a little bit more of his background, of his life, kind of thing, just a little bit more. I didn't eat too much, but just a little bit.
It was like, and this is gonna sound crazy. It was like John Wick, just with the black perspective of John Wick.
Yeah, I thought the fight scene in the jail scene was the prison.
Because he filthy.
I thought the only thing I didn't like either that I thought was kind of weird was like, all right, he's a special ops homeboy, and he just did all of that in plain broad daylight, at the airport.
By the way, he would have got shot.
ASAP.
So you know.
ASAP.
Military bow. You're black in America. Goodbye, bro. I didn't think that was realistic either.
I thought that was a little weird.
Out of a fucking fire, literally a car on fire. Go ahead. What else?
I thought it would have been dope, like if he would have got out the car, got away, and like the cameras would have called him at the airport because there's thousands of cameras at the airport, and then he would have been on the run, kind of shit.
Right.
And then,
little fugitive action.
Yeah, I thought that would have made it a little bit better, but it's like. It could have been better. I think they could have changed the story just a little bit. I felt like they were in that building for too long.
Right. What did you think about the fucking plane sinking down and homeboy going through the whole fucking plane and getting all that gear?
Yeah, I was like, all right, like that took too long to do.
I was like, yo, you the man, but you would have been dead.
Yeah, because the force of the plane going down, you would have got pulled down with it.
Right.
But overall, I would say
it's a 7 out of 10.
I would say it's like a 6.5, 7.
Okay.
It's like 6.5.
Okay.
What about you?
So overall, me, I don't smoke weed, but anymore. But I approach films like if I am high as fuck. From a high as fuck perspective, movie was fire. Right? Explosions, action, he's fucking people up, shit is on fire. First of all, when a car's on fire, everything's on fire. There's no way you open the handle of that fucking car door. I was like, bullshit. But I was like, all right, fucking B. Jordan is getting filthy. Let's do our thing. Homeboy's yoked as fuck. I liked that shit too. The Navy's the beginning of the Navy SEALs coming in. RPG, everybody's dead. I didn't understand how the RPG went through 3 floors of concrete and rebarb and everybody survived. I was like, okay, here we go with the bullshit. Then, as someone who studies film scenes, right? When he shot the guy, so when he's fighting with those, so he goes down the stairs in the basement. He walks around with Shorty, right? When he stabs the guy's hand to the other dude, he shoots them, and for whatever reason, green smoke comes out of the gun. I don't know what the fuck that was because dirt is not green. I didn't know if it was like a gas gun that they used and they didn't reshoot the scene. So I was like, this is like in the sequences. I was like, you guys dropped the ball. There was another part, in my opinion, that it felt rushed. right? Like it was like bang, 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 bang. And like you were talking about earlier, there wasn't more character development. Another thing, I'm kind of tired of movies showing me their hand. As soon as I seen Guy Pearce, I was like, he's the bad guy. It was just easy. It was predictable, right? Like put somebody else in that position. Like it would have been dope if Guy Pearce was really the good guy and the other guy who was playing an asshole was the bad guy. And I guess I get the duality, but it was already too easy to read for me. Like I was looking at it at the casting and I was like, there's no way that this guy is going to play this guy.
I thought that was a little lame too, where like when he went into the bathroom to confront him, he was like, "Oh, your mood didn't change." I'm like, he really didn't give you no signal. Like,
right.
It was like
was weak. Pierce, I like Guy Pearce. I don't love Guy Pearce. I think I know Vizcat's one of his favorite movies is Memento. Guy Pearce was in that. But I feel like Guy Pearce really doesn't bring much to the table from an acting standpoint. And I thought that whole bathroom scene was weak as fuck. Because when he choked him out, he was like, well, you didn't say anything about... And when his answer was legit. It was like, bro, I read the whole file. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right?
Yeah. Like, it wasn't like he tripped him up on anything or any wordplay or showed a video of something.
Right. And I thought you had such an amazing... First of all, that scene in the house without the lights, that shootout scene was fire. Okay? My favorite part of the scene was the flashlight rolling around. I don't know if you was aware of that, hitting B. Jordan. And then how did you let go of that villain scene for him to just blow himself up? So there was no fight scene. There was no build up. There was no tension. Like the best villain of the movie, you let go. Right? Instead of you making it about a politics thing. Like if you're going to do part 2, maybe you don't kill Pierce, right? And make it, that's part 2. Him coming back for Pierce and some of the other people. But I felt like they got rid of that guy. And that guy's actually a slick actor. The dude that played the Russian dude.
And there wasn't more backstory on that either. I was like, why didn't you like go a little bit into that? Like what did he do and how did he get roped into the CIA? And,
right.
You know,
right.
like,
so it's like we get thrown into this whole fucking fight scene in, the Middle East, and then people are surviving fucking RPGs, and then we get out of there, and then now you're killing SEALs. Like I get that they were trying to keep it fast paced when you talk about action, but they were missing narratives as they were speeding through parts of the film. What else was that jail scene was fucking unbelievable. I thought it was so great. I thought it was super believable. But yeah, I would have liked that's what I thought. I was like, they got him? I was like, you got bagged? So again, it's like, oh, get me out of here. Because whatever, I'm gonna get killed. I thought that was a little bit of fucking like drama, whatever. I did like her as a character, but I think she was trying, or they were making her try. Right? Like, I don't believe he's ready for the field. And then they have that stupid shit on the plane. Like, I get that she's a badass, right? And I like her as a badass. In Slim with Queen, I don't even know what the name of I forget the full name of them. I think Slim and Queen. In Slim and Queen, she has like a small moment where she shows some of her emotional side, but I don't feel like she's a really good dramatic actress. And so I don't think about her trying to carry the narrative of her being sensitive to this guy's overall issues was great casting. To be honest with you, overall the casting in my opinion was okay. It could have been better. It could have been way better. But obviously, we talked about it last week. When you got to pay $300 million for fucking effects and you got to give Michael B. Jordan $300 million, you don't have that much money left. So I get it. I think it's something good to build off of. Tom Clancy obviously seems to be something good. I really like what they did with the first Tom Clancy series. They had 2 seasons. It was great. I liked a lot of parts. I would have said it was a 7, not being high.
Yeah, exactly.
If I was high, it was like an 11. I thought the plane going down and that whole shit, I was like, bro, you would have been dead too. But I thought it was they kind of made it believable. Again, it's a movie, so there's not all these other things. And I also thought like from that bathroom moment, it started tanking fast.
Yeah.
The bathroom was weak. I thought the ending was weak. I was like, what are you guys doing?
And then also like...
And by the way, real quick, before you jump in, they would have all been fucking dead in that house. Because they had snipers coming in from all angles. You would have been... Bro, if it was you playing Call and you have fools in the house, they would have been dead. They would have been dead. There's no way. But continue, please.
Oh, they could have shot RPGs from all 4 angles. Like, you would have been dead that way, too.
They used RPGs in the whole movie. Nobody thought about blowing up the building?
And then, like, the guy had a vest probably with, like, 7 pounds of C4 on his chest. Like, that whole floor would have been leveled.
Leveled, yes.
That whole side of the building would have been blown out with them in it.
Bro, thinking about this, right? It could have been so fire, literally, like the heat. It probably could have brought the whole building down. because that's about as much fucking TNT as you would put in a building to bring it down.
Exactly.
And they
So
survived
that was a little bullshit too. Like, again, they could have made it better, and I get it. It's fucking a movie.
Sure. I get it.
I thought it
But
was a
being
little
super critical.
Yeah, I thought it was a little weak. It's like you said, the airplane scene. Like if a fighter, if they were in all black, like there's no technology that traces people flying in the air. Like they could have jumped out the fucking thing. Like still. Like
That's another thing too. We're ready to jump. Like I would have jumped.
Exactly.
What the fuck? We were waiting for it. Like they lost a little bit on that too. But I think what they were trying to say was that they got sold out. It wasn't that they seen them in the air. That someone gave intel saying that they were there. And
yeah,
that's
for
how
sure. But what I'm saying is like, all right, when this happened, all right, listen, we're gonna jump out the plane now. We're gonna jump out now. You know, the plane could have like threw itself into the fighter pilot, distracted them for a second, and they would have jumped out the plane because they wouldn't have been to see them in the middle of the night. Like that's not how that works.
Right.
You know, him saving the equipment, cool and all, but that was a little too long, a little dramatic. But like I said, overall, good movie.
I thought it was
great.
solid.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It was 1,000 times better than Mortal Kombat, 1,000 times better than King Kong Godzilla. You know, I think we're like 3 for 7 now in movies.
You know what's so crazy? And is that the thing now, right? And we'll start to take it out on this. Are they gonna give us so much garbage that anything good is phenomenal? Right? Like that's the space that we're playing in now.
Basically.
It's like King Kong, Mortal Kombat. Okay, here's fucking Without Remorse. You're like, fuck, that's like a 15. Based on, you know what I mean? Based on the garbage you just gave me.
Yep.
That's
what it's looking like. That's what it's trending towards.
Yeah, it looks like it's trending that way. I mean, like I said last week, and we said it last week, Hard Body, the clips are out on YouTube. Amazon gets it done, bro. Like even if it was okay, it was still way better than most of the films released at this point.
For sure. For sure.
All right, we're coming to an end here. Tell me, did we get any any people in the comment section?
We got Rudy Batista said, "What up, brother?"
Nice. What's up, Rudy?
Dominique Grant said, "No cop should joke. Every department has at least one bad cop that they all know about and say nothing."
I agree with that statement. 100%.
If they police themselves, they can be completely trusted.
Nice. I like that.
My brother Emmanuel Laura said, "Bring back stereotype jokes." Brandon Rose, that's Mr. Salty, right? He says Clutch is is a conservative, very conservative.
Nice. Okay.
I disagree with that. I'm like 98% liberal on everything. I think we need universal basic income, universal basic health, women's rights, gay rights, any type of rights. I'm just a fiscal conservative, and I just take information as how I get it and dish it out.
All right, cool. We're gonna have to have another show about who's the lefty, who's the righty on this one. Go ahead, keep going.
I think Lalo was here. Uncle Lou. Bill
Nice.
Clinton.
What Uncle Lou say?
You just said Bill Clinton. He laughed when you said that. When we talk about Bill Gates fucking and shit. Floyd Mayweather. I agree. Floyd Mayweather's a good boxer.
That's La.
Yeah. No, that was Harold.
Okay, Soto. What's up, Soto?
And then we have Manny again said is a rap for Pujols. Just call it a career. One of the best to ever do it.
Thank you. That means he's still fucking watching. You're the fucking man, Laura. Taking heat. Our segment with my guy. All right. Tell them what they need to do to keep up with us.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and if you want to see a little bit of video, watch us on TikTok. Make sure you guys show up, show out, and I appreciate all you guys, all the love, all the support, and I'll see you guys next week.
Stay safe, stay healthy, and thanks for listening.